Welcome to Meadowbrook Memories Podcast. I am Jelly, otherwise known as Glaister Prince, and my co-host is Hitchcock, otherwise known as Alfred Henry. Our mission on this podcast series is to explore the stories behind the magic that was created at Meadowbrook. When over a span of 4 years, between 1982 and 1986, we saw the transformation of a small co-educational school with less than 1,200 students, 800 boys, 800 girls and 400 boys into a successful sports and scholastic champion, winning 7 major trophies, 3 Sunlight Cup, 2 Topping Cup, 1 Walker Cup and 1 Nutriment Shield. And to crown these achievements, Meadowbrook also produced 2 Rhodes Scholars, Cavell Creighton in 1987 and Andrea Wright in 1989, both graduates of Meadowbrook in 1983. In this podcast series, we'll be speaking to persons, both male and female, who are actively involved in this incredible journey, along with friends and staff at Meadowbrook, which inspired the environment which created this golden era. We hope you enjoy our discussion. Please give us as much support and encouragement as you can on whatever social media platform you are listening. Welcome and thanks for joining us. Today is Sunday, April 10, 2022. I welcome back to Meadowbrook Memories, and this is conversation number 11, as me say. Me, as usual, Jelly, or some of you might know me by another name, them Glaister, or Prince, or Lance, but any one of them name they will do. And my co-host is Alfred Hitchcock Henry. Our guest this week is someone who I have described in previous conversation as a man who ran more miles to Meadowbrook on the football field than any other football who ever played for Meadowbrook High School. He's also a very good long distance runner and represented and won points for Meadowbrook at champs and was champion boy on sports day when he led from the front for Gartrell House. So without further ado or fanfare, let me introduce big time footballer, big time track and field star, and if we take it serious, would be a big time cricketer, Ira Turner. Welcome to Meadowbrook Memories. Introduce yourself.
Yes, everyone. This is Ira G. Turner. As Jelly says, the resume and football and track and cricket pretty much speak for itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
But this is Ira Turner, man.
And what year you start, Ira, before me ask you my first question? What year you come to Meadowbrook? From what year to what year?
78 to 81.
You come the 3 years. All right. So the first question, now let's ask everybody come on this podcast. Did you choose Meadowbrook or Meadowbrook chose you?
You know, I pondered this question many times because I listened to the podcast and I hear everybody give them different version of their Meadowbrook experience. But I would say I chose Meadowbrook. But Meadowbrook accepted me.
So going into detail of that story, all that fear they work out in terms of say you choose them and then them accept. It's like a nice like a marriage then. Going into the detail of that.
Yeah, so the background and me getting accepted in Meadowbrook is much different from everybody else. It's myself and Tony Reynolds, but Tony Reynolds can speak from a film perspective. But on my part, you know, I was at Major League training and either minor league or Major League training at Bottomfield at the same time, the Money Cup team that I trained. And I had just came off of a championship game at Permacar Secondary. Which we lose to St. Anne's on penalty kicks.
And them time the Permacar, remember the secondary school have them one league and have them championship league, and Permacar play St. Anne's in the finals. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
So leaving that year from Permacar, that's after that season, in fact, 90% of the player them either head for the Money Cup or the Costa Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And my plan was not to travel anywhere too far from Riddlesborough,
mm-hmm.
because that time, the end of the season, that time, politics was just start getting into the nitty gritty of the political warfare. And my mindset was, I think it would be easier for me to run from Meadowbrook to get over the bridge to Reynolds Road, as opposed to be downtown or being Clarendon or Dintale or wherever. So my mindset was to stay close to home. So it was during one practice I was at. Actually, it was minor league practice and I approached Devon Jeffrey because the Manicup team was down there. I said, "Hey, coach, I can help you out, man. Your team needs some help." And he said, "Well, I can't do anything for you right now, but talk to Wagga," because Wagga was my minor league coach. He said, "Talk to Wagga, man. Wagga and Top a friend."
And Wagga, for the record, all your stories, David Hunt. A lot of people call him name already from the last couple of weeks. I'm going to give him a proper name. David Hunt.
Come on.
He had a sister who come to Meadowbrook, Cheryl Hunt, and then he have a brother who went to KC as well, but me know personally. Christopher, the name?
Christopher Wainhunt.
Christopher Wainhunt, right. So we just have to give him a proper name because we talked about him for the last couple of weeks because we honor Wagga. But go ahead.
Yeah, respect, man. Respect. So when I approached Devon Jeffrey, because Devon Jeffrey knew where I was at the time, because we were always there side by side with the Manicup team practicing, because I wasn't feeling a Meadowbrook at the time, and either the major league team, the Manicup team, or the minor league team would use it at different times. So, but when I approached Wagga and showed my interest, he said, "Yeah, if you're serious, I will talk to Tarp. Tarp is my friend." I said, "All right."
Before you even go further, Ira, well, you probably didn't know that there was a lot of prompting by some of the Manicup players. We who saw you on Tony, plus there's another player from them, but I remember it was three of you. We were asking Devon to take you guys in before you even knew.
Okay.
But we were impressed. So we were saying that we would need, Tony and you and Tony. And I think that spurred Devon to really push through. But even if Wagga didn't approach him, I think Devon would take you guys in.
Okay. That was great because I didn't know, man. I went and when he said talk to Wagga was all excited. And he went, talked to Tarp, and he came back the next practice and said, "Hey, you got to meet Tarp at 6:30 on Saturday morning." And at first I was like, "Wait a second, 6:30 on a Saturday morning? Are you serious?" Because Friday night it's party night on Friday night time. So, and he said, "Yep, 6:30, man. Don't be late." So Tony Reynolds and I showed up at Tarp's house, and the first thing that greeted us was those dogs.
So at Tarp house, you can meet Tarp?
Yep, right at Tarp house, and the dogs are the one that answered the door. Then Tarp came out, called us in, and Jelly, this is how it worked that morning. So that was all, psyched up to start answering some serious questions and Tarp and stuff like that. And, I was kind of nervous at first, but when we walked in, Tarp literally sat us down, offered the both of us 2 cups of tea. And he says, "I've seen your report card. It looks like you guys can do the work." And he says, I'll never forget this. He says, "My friend gave me his words, and don't let my friend down."
That's a Wagga Matag.
That's a Wagga Matag. He said Wagga gave him his words, and we should not let him down. Yeah. And he gave us 2 slips of paper and said, Monday morning when you come to school, first thing you need to do, go see the bursar. And he tell us where the office is. You come in the gate, the building is off to the right. Go over there, see the bursar, give her the paper. You get your books and whatever you need. And that was the beginning of my history at Meadowbrook.
So did you realize it would have been so simple?
No, I was like nervous. I'm figuring he's gonna start asking me some questions on maths and English and stuff, and see, what's going on or why I wanted. He didn't even ask me why I wanted to come to Meadowbrook.
Go ahead,
Go ahead, Freddie.
No, so everything was set. But the thing is, the team already told Devon that they want you and Tony to come in. Devon agreed that he would. But even what happened, Devon wanted to take somebody else in. But Tarp wouldn't give him the leverage to take in more than a certain amount of people. So what he did was to use Wagga to get this next two in, which was a sure thing. There was no doubt that you and I Tony were coming to Meadowbrook. No doubt. Because it was like Meadowbrook wanted you to. Yeah. Based on my knowledge.
And more important, Fred, it looked like Tarp and Wagga connection go way back.
Yeah. Way back.
Maybe without his father. I never know that.
I didn't know that they were that tight.
Them live in the same community because Wagga live on the other side of the school, at Flemington Drive, you know. Wagga live near the prep school, right.
Yeah, Wagga house is right across from the church.
Yeah, and when you think about it, the community, I know I think about it and I say, I didn't know Tarp, my father didn't know Mr. Tarp from long time. So it's not like, when Wagga got to him, it's not straight I got to him at all.
No man, it was friends.
Yeah. But that was good. So Tony Reynolds at the time. He never have nothing to say to him, but I follow you.
Yeah, Tony Reynolds, because I when I went to Wagga and he said, "Oh, you sure?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Tony too, man," because the both of us just came off a successful season at Pembroke. And Messi, Dion Wilmot, he headed off to there, and Dintil, and I mean all of the players, man. 90% of the players head off to either the Costa Cup or they went to Manning Cup.
Yeah.
Neil Thomas, Dugan, they all was gone. That's a team we had, man. We should have won. We lost some penalties.
All of them man like a Pembroke.
Yeah. You know, and I didn't run track at Pembroke. I just went in and they said the football team got ready to start practice and so the funny thing about that, I'm gonna digress a little bit, is a kid came to me and Freddie, you may know him, Ichibi.
Yep.
Ichibi is the one that came to me and he said, "Hey, Ira, the football team get ready to start training and I know you can make the team." I didn't even know who Ichibi was.
Yeah.
And Ichibi offered me and said, and then he gave me the breakdown. He says, "There's a lot of guys returning from last year, and they're all superstars." There was a guy from Pembroke, and Jelly, you may know him, Preco.
Preco, yeah, man. Yeah. I know Preco, yeah.
Preco used to kick penalties with his back to the goal and score.
Yeah.
He used to close his eyes and kick penalties and score. So when those guys missed the penalties in the final, man, I was like, wait a sec, I didn't even take a penalty.
Yeah.
Because I was still, in my mindset, I was still new to the team. So, I was letting the team run the way, the leaders on the team were running it. Because as a midfielder, when I went to Premier Call, the coach asked me what position I play, and I said, left wing. And he said, "You sure?" I said, "Yep, that's my position." Because I didn't want to get into the middle wherever the superstars were, and then they're going to be a battle in the middle for who started and who wasn't started. My job is to be on the field. So I went left wing, and the guy who played left wing the year before, he lost his game immediately.
Yeah, you take one game. So let me ask you something. I want you to spend a Pembroke.
Actually, not even a full year.
Not even a full year. So where did I come from? What school did I come from? Pembroke.
School I came from, the Pembroke was an all-age school called Swallowfield up at Whitehall. Swallowfield all-age. Yeah, between Whitehall and Manning Road.
Yeah, that school that Jago used to go. I know that school. Yeah.
So that's the school, man, that kind of grew me into who I actually was coming into Meadowbrook, leaving Pembroke and coming to Meadowbrook, man. And you mentioned Jago, Jelly. Jago and I go way back at Swallowfield. Because Jago's mom, that's Miss Johnson.
Yeah, true.
Miss Johnson is my favorite teacher. Anybody asks me, even today, who's your favorite teacher, Miss Johnson's name goes on my paper. And, Miss Johnson used to take, make sure I stop at her house and finish my homework before I get home. I mean, that's my teacher right there.
I like she adopted then. You're like our adopted
Man,
son.
I'm telling you, she even so the last year I was in school, she gave me a good caning too.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Big up for my friend Diego and the mother.
yeah,
Big honor to them for know so she take care of them way there and groom a certain way. I
yeah.
say big up Miss Johnson. Have a big hour
I
by
know,
her.
telling me, I Miss Johnson, man, God bless her soul, because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know she had passed. Because whenever I see Jacob, man, I was like, hey, how's Miss Johnson doing, man?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I heard she passed away, so that was a great loss.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That all students. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she was no joke, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So all right, you get in a Meadowbrook now, the Saturday, you tap just get a paper. So your first day on the campus now was the first time you come on the campus and come to the Burson, or the first time you come into the school, what was the first impression you get at the school?
Well, that wasn't my first time to school,
Okay.
because we used the school itself for minor league practice.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, during the minor league season. So we weren't even at Baton Field then. We were at the school right where the concrete pitch.
Yeah, man, right beside top yard. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, right. That's where we usually set up for practice and stuff before we start running and playing ball. So I was already know about Meadowbrook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The thing was, I was never. Yeah, but prior to starting in '78, I wasn't thinking Meadowbrook or even thinking high school,
Mm-hmm.
because when I saw most of the high school players, my mindset was so different that I'm like, well, they can't match. There's nothing they're gonna do with me.
Mm-hmm.
So but when I went down to that one day, Freddie, when I was down there and approached Devon, I was one of my cousins was like, man, you can, you do know you could still make it in Meadowbrook, right? But I wasn't thinking, going into high school. I've already finished, Swallowfield, and then being at Pembroke Hall. I was also in the cadet.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think anyone that I've played with know that I was in cadet, other than the guys at Swallowfield. I was a cadet at Up Park Camp.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I heard somebody talk about.
When you were in Pembroke?
Yeah, when I was in Pembroke.
Oh, yeah. So you're in the combined cadet fort as just, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a cadet at Up Park Camp. I heard, I think it was Crooks that talk about Foster with Brookup, the guy from camp. Yeah, that was my platoon sergeant up there.
Oof, never faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, really, yeah. Yeah.
Because when you talked to Crooks the other day, he was mentioning Brookup that come to the school to do inspection and stuff.
Yeah. So all right, so your first official day at Meadowbrook now. You come on, you go to the Bursa first. Our school class start that day there?
Yeah, class started there. That was Monday. The first Monday school started back in September.
Okay, so tell me a little about that. Now you come on school now and you finally meet some other student now apart from the football player them who they probably know you from before. And you go in your classroom. Give me the first impression you get now. You step inside our classroom.
Well, the first student I met was Andrew Keene.
Andrew Keene, yes, yeah.
I think Andrew Keene was a head boy.
Possible. I don't remember that possible.
Was he a head boy, Freddie?
Yeah, he was head boy.
Yeah, so he was the first student I met. And I'm going to tell you, the first question, Andrew Keene, he said, hey, welcome to Meadowbrook. And the next thing he said to me was, do you believe Jesus is Lord?
Yes, that was Andrew Keene. Yeah.
Dude says, man, come on in. And at first I was like, yeah, I do, And after that, he's the one who showed me actually where my classroom was.
And get a tour.
Yeah, he dropped me at the classroom, and my home teacher at the time was a teacher named Pottinger.
Yeah, Andrew Keane had two younger sisters who come on Meadowbrook. One is in my class, Diane Keane,
Okay.
and the younger one, Gillian Keane. You don't remember them, Freddie?
Yeah, I think that's one. The Walters married to one of them.
Gillian, Jeffrey married to Gillian Keane. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
so Andrew was my guy, man, and that's the question he posed to me. You know, so I never forget that was my first day at Meadowbrook. I came in, went into the classroom. So some of the students in the classroom had heard my name before, and others didn't. So I had to just go to class and just be there. And they said, "Hey, he's a Manning Cup player." That's what they started out with at first.
So you and Tony Reynolds in the same class. Who were some of the students that we meet in that class? If you remember some of them.
Yeah, Ivan Art.
Ivan, yeah.
Yeah, Ivan Art was in the class. There's a kid in there. His name was Jeremiah Moody.
Yeah, I remember him. He's a little Marvel Freddy,
Vincent, Vincent and those guys. So those are the guys that I end up.
Who the name they call, Ira? You miss it.
Vincent Speed.
Yeah. Okay.
Marvelous. He's from Marvelous, Junior Speed.
Yeah.
And your guy.
That class Ira was the third form. It's the third form the year before that came in through the grade 9 achievement.
Oh, okay.
That's
a new class.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Meadowbrook started accepting some grade 9. I didn't even realize that, Freddie, yeah. The first time we accept a large batch of grade 9 achievement students.
Oh, so they started that year?
Yeah, the year before you came, they started accepting
put them in a third farm.
Third farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I had known about that, man, I could have been down there in '77.
Yeah. So when come here, you're going to fourth farm.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let me ask you something. I mentioned Diego. When you come back on Meadowbrook now, when you back up on Diego, I know it's a Meadowbrook Diego go.
Yeah, I run into Jago. I think Jago was down by the field one day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I run into Jago down there. Man, it was good to see him too. At least I said, man, I know another guy that I know from a while that I can talk history with. When I run into Jago down there, and he has a little brother named Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was always checking him out, asking him, well, how is Dave doing, man? What is he doing? Joseph Wood,
Yeah.
Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Woody was another guy that was at Meadowbrook that I know.
Mm-hmm.
But Woody was awesome.
Woody was from Whitehall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Woody was on my class, not my farm.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Woody came out as Sutherfield as well.
Yeah, Joseph Ford, yeah.
Yeah, so some of those guys passed their common entrance and
Yeah, they're from first farm, yeah. I remember I'm from first
I
farm.
made it down to the high school.
Yeah.
I made it to the high school. So I didn't pass my common entrance. Miss Johnson wasn't too happy with me because she said this work is easy. You can do the work. But the common entrance for me was not as serious. I was listening to Dougie the other day and I was like, I didn't take it as serious as most people took it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I just went and took the test because they said you have to take the common entrance, so I take it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I just move on because the class that I had and was going, all of us in the same class keep moving up straight to grade 9.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of us. We dominated track and field. We dominated soccer, cricket in the school. It was just us.
That's all I feel.
That's what I feel. So I wasn't really feeling like I was missing anything until that graduation day. They're like, you got to get up out of here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was it. And the year I was leaving Swallowfield, I was a champion boy in track and field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And track and field still was not the thing for me.
Yeah, man.
They forced me to run out of run, but
I'll come to that because you come to Meadowbrook and you're a big time champion boy, but I'll come to that. But you come as a football player, Ira. You come as a big time football player, or soccer, the American them call it. Football for we, that's how we know it. Yeah. So you come in now, what the first Manning Cup match you remember play?
First Manning Cup match, Meadowbrook KC.
And a few must match, we talked about last week, Freddie.
Yeah, same game.
But I'm gonna tell you this because in the youth in my class and some of the other class them coming up to the match, Freddie. All them talk about as long as we don't.
Well, all right. I forget to
You know,
phone. Yeah.
as long as we don't lose to KC by 6 or 7 so whoa, timeout. My mentality was if you already lose the game before you play the game, you might as well don't go up on the field. Or if KC feel like them already win the game, that's good for us because they don't need to play either. So we're going to go there and play.
So which man have a attitude? Like your classmate, not a member of the football team. The other classmate.
Classmate, man. And actually, most of the students in the school.
Student body, yeah.
KC, as long as you don't lose by more than 5 or 6, them all right.
Yeah, they accepted loss.
They accepted.
Because what happened is in those days, as I said before Ira came and I came. That was 3 points for KC.
Yeah, man.
Easily.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we never beat KC yet. Up to that time, we have never beaten KC. So, in our money cup.
Freddie, I don't know about you, man, but I was determined that's gonna stop that beginning of that year.
Ira, if you remember that week, I didn't talk much,
I know.
I didn't talk much that week, because all my focus was to just go and beat KC. And I don't remember the meeting we had. We had a meeting after the last training underneath the zinc shed.
Yeah, down bottom field, yeah.
At the Plum Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Before me want to get up before they want to finish talking because I was so pumped. I don't want to hear nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
We had the players, man. And that year, Freddie, for me coming in, I don't like to come in and like take over the team and try to, direct players to because Bonnie was a captain and Bonnie was a good player.
Mm-hmm.
So he had the voice.
Mm-hmm.
But his voice was not a captain's voice to say, hey, look, we can't give up on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got to push forward. Even my second year, I wasn't the captain of the team, but everyone called me skipper.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Reynolds was the captain in the second year.
Mm-hmm.
But when I stepped on the field, this is leadership time.
Mm-hmm.
And so the captain to me didn't really, you wear the captain band, that's it. If you're not gonna lead, then I'm all into directing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I have a simple, even though it's an effective process when I step on the field, Jelly, and Freddie, you know this too. It's a whole different thing for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what you remember most about that match, Ira?
The KC match?
Yeah.
Oh, my KC match, man, most of the time, all I did was control pass, shut down the middle, control and pass. I didn't even push forward at all because we had English. We had a youth. Clarence was there to right, Freddie.
Who?
Clarence
Wallace, possible. We know my class, yeah.
Yeah, he played.
Yes, he did.
Eh?
I think he played one of the wings.
Yeah.
He didn't play the KC game, I think, though.
He didn't play that game, but I know Tony Reynolds was on one of the wing.
Tony Reynolds was on one of the wing, and English was on the next.
And the English was on the next one. Eva was up top.
But Eva is in town, yes, yeah.
He's in town. So, for me, these guys were seasoned players. So I was just watching them and letting them play their game. But I was just sitting in the middle. My thing was nobody controlling the ball in the middle when I'm in it.
Mm.
None. I went home that day after that game, and my neighborhood erupted because they were listening to the game on the radio.
Mm.
And when I walked in, they said all the guy keeps talking about is tipper body turner in the middle like a truck.
You all over the place, I remember that too. Yes, that's why I have the description of you.
Because when I went back to the neighborhood that night, they're like, Chico body turn in the middle like a truck was just molding, take everything down. I'm like, shoot, man, that was great.
That was a turning point for the school. That last week, that was a big time turning point for the school. That particular match, it was like a shift in terms of the school psyche, in terms of say, a win. A win. It was like outplay KC. It was like say a win and lucky if they were win.
No, man, yeah, we beat them properly, man.
Outplay them.
Yeah, we did outplay them properly. Actually, that year, even though it was my first year, but based on what I heard from the 77 team and most of the guys who came back from 77, that year was another step in the right direction for the school itself, because we went on to create a lot of havoc in the league that year. I think we were like number 1 or number 2 at one point during the season. So we were doing a lot of damage, man.
Yeah, you want the first. So after you come in now, you start playing now. Top ever call you back for say, boy, ever talk to you?
You know, no, I've never seen Topper again, because, you know, Topper's the principal. So my plan was always to stay away from the principal.
You don't have no reason to talk to him at all.
No, I have no reason to talk to Tarp at all. So I always, you know, like Jim Roy and the rest of the guys who've been there before, they've already let me know where all the spots Tarp always check in. Make sure students not hanging out and stuff like that. So, you know, I was good with that.
You avoid them spot there.
Yeah, I avoid.
One good way of finding if Tarp coming was if you hear the dogs.
Oh, the dogs always lead in front.
You're the tripping at the dog's feet.
So yeah. So after the first match, no Ira, you remember any other match of the season where you remember was stand out? That kind of KC match was stand out to all the people.
That was a big match, man. The second match, I think we draw with Calabar. And I had to sit there and didn't take it. That still haunt me today. But when the ball rebound, you know, what's his name? Nuts. The goalkeeper for Calabar come out and him dive right at my foot and put his head right there. And I didn't take the shot because if I hit it, I'm sure I was going to hit his head off. You know, so he made a clever move and came out bravely and forced me into a decision with that. Yeah, I didn't take the shot, and we end up tying that game 0-0. We let Calabar off the hook because we were on fire too.
Yeah.
But the big game that I remember though was my game, Freddie. That Saturday morning when we had Georgia.
Before you even say anything about that game, you know, that was the game I really, really realized that you were ready for Monaco. Because you were playing against one of the top midfielder in Monaco for the last 3 years, you know.
Oh, Linton Chan.
Linton Iron Man Chan. I will outplay them. Clean.
Did I start the morning match?
Saturday morning match, 10 o'clock.
Oh man, I was on fire that year. You know what's the referee, Bulla John?
Yeah,
Yep.
Bulla John Richard. Yeah, John.
Jelly, I was so fired up, man. That Bulla John, he called me and he said, "Hey, stop the knives on the field.
Stop the what?
The knives," because I was like, bro, let's do it. Hey, shoot him down. I was on fire.
Me, I talk to everybody.
Yeah, and he says, "Hey, look in the stands. There's nobody in the stands. Stop the damn noise on the field. If you keep yelling like that, I'm gonna give you a card." I'm like, "What is wrong with you, man?"
That's what the referee I tell you.
Yeah, that's what the referee tell me about it. After he said that, I went down 20 yards out, boom, back of the net. I was, yeah. There is no way, because I was thinking of George's not as the school that we were, you know, like. We are going to beat them. I was thinking of George as one of the other giants, like the KCs, that we're going to take down. You know, so that was my intention, to take them down and let them know that Meadowbrook is here to stay, man.
George was a big name school to hire them time, man. Did you beat them a match, eh?
2-0.
2-0, yeah. But George was a big name
Still
school era. George's was, that surprised them, that shocked them too, because they look at Meadowbrook as like, yeah, we beat Meadowbrook all the while and I don't know nothing. And them have a good team, because Linton Chang a good player. Them have a good team.
Imagine, Jelly, in those days, previously, Meadowbrook would be playing the top, maybe the top 3 Manning Cup teams.
Back
First.
to back, yeah.
There's no way anybody at all except us would imagine that we'd have a clean sheet. No goal scored against me in the first 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So we were leading the zone then.
Yeah, we were leading.
Yeah.
After the first 3 matches.
Yeah, and then when you go take on like a soft team, them now like when you relax and then go draw some match and yeah.
Camperdown was the team that beat us first.
Camperdown, man. Camperdown has Gould and Thomas McLean and some other guys, and them try to use badness. Even though them try to bad me up and make it never work.
And Blake, yeah.
Because each time we'd lead them half time 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
We go in at half time and lead them 1-0, and the man them come out second half and them stop play ball and start play man.
Yeah.
Them punch man at them face, elbow, kick, everything.
Different tactics.
Me and Thomas McLean get tonight. Stand up on the middle and I say, "Oh, youth!" Say, "Youth, will come off of this."
No start right, with the boy, you know, kind of different name, little boy, you know, it's like, and even the first goal, the score, you know, definitely, Ricky was fouled big time, you know.
Yeah, and pick down Ricky, man.
Pick down Ricky and take the ball to come, and then when me come, you know, him push it. I advance and just push it to the right and go in.
You call him a bigger man for now. Call him thicker down and all them with them. Tall down now.
He was not big centre half.
No, remember Ricky one. No, the Ricky never big. But me I said the Camperdown man, them the bigger than we.
Oh yeah, them bigger than we, man.
Yeah, call him a play long time. Thomas McLean.
I remember Gould and Thomas McLean play major league.
Mm-hmm. Boy, son them time there. Yeah, I remember that.
Boy, them come all good. Me and Gould flash and Gould bounce off and them look for me and say, all right.
You're making me there for stay era. You come for stamp yourself on the field, yeah.
Yeah, man. What of them, man? Because so Dele and Freddie, so me grew up and play my ball at St. Richard's, you know, from Redlands Road, St. Richard's Primary. And over there, so me don't go St. Richard's, you know, but the field, the community field what we use, and that field we play upon.
Guy lives near the field.
Yeah, I might feel it. And a concrete there on most of the field and the other side of the tennis court with a mesh fence.
Yeah.
So standing up on my thing and defending my thing was nothing new.
Yeah.
Nothing new. Because either you stand up or you get licked in the concrete wall. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So when that's how I grew up playing, like you gotta stand up and protect your things.
Mm-hmm.
But them never know that. Them things, so them come run me over. But
no,
they never work.
It's what, you know. The set of man will come in the Friday and then you want one Ronaldo and a set of man there. When you come with a different mindset, you know. Because it's a different mentality now, you know. You're not going to make the man bouncing off of the ball. You're not going to make the man balling up on the field. And them school from downtown used to think some Meadowbrook like an uptown school and them come intimidate with certain things. And I think at that chain more than anything else in a Friday, the intimidatory tactics couldn't work no more because when you bring in a sense, what the judge call it, Freddie, a killer instinct where I say, you have to live for Meadowbrook, you have to respect Meadowbrook. And when you're afraid of a bad man, I think so, and a bad man, I can bring that up on the football field. A ball will play, I can beat him with the ball. And that make a big difference. That make you are to me epitomize that more than enough other man, because you come in, and I said, remember you just run up and down the field, man, you ain't afraid of no boy, man. No boy at all. You just eat them food and eat them uncle. That's some remember you.
Every time, man. Every time. That was my mentality. Even when I came here and played college ball, that was it.
Yeah.
Don't come in the middle and fool around with the ball. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get tear up.
Yeah, man. You're attack. You're there for win the ball, man. You're there for take with the ball from the man. I think. And the boy never bounce off of the ball because, as I say, you train when you get a St. Richard's Primary on the concrete field. It's a different sort of trip because you're not a drop. You just stand up on the ball, exactly.
So you know, so Jelly and Freddie, this we can tell you proudly, even though getting a red card is not to be proud of, but over the 30 or 40 years of me playing, 2 red card and 1 yellow card, me getting it.
Mm-hmm.
As hard as you see me used to play now. Never get a yellow card in the Manning Cup, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nah, man, that's hard as me talking, man.
Can you keep it within the rule, you know, play for yeah.
The rule, that's it, basically. Play within the rule.
Yeah.
When I think Ira, although you didn't mention the reaction of the school community after we did so well.
Yeah, after the KC match. What? Yeah, go ahead, Freddie, with your question. Sorry.
One thing is one of the reasons why we wanted Ira and Tony in the team that year, we knew we had some weakness in midfield and up top. Because we lost when we get Harvey.
Harvey.
Anthony Harvey, yeah.
And Walker in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
So we were looking at Ira and Tony replace those two.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy when both of them came in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ira, so the school cup after them 2 big matches we win, well them 3 big matches. When the reception at the school you start getting now, when you come back at the school and you beat up KC, you hold Calabar and you beat up Georges. What was the reaction of the school community? Good question, Freddie.
No, man, the community was rock solid, man. Everybody started to believe and started to buy into the concept that Meadowbrook is here to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So every match that we're coming up on now, it started to be some excitement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For us going into these different matches, I mean, I'm telling you, after the first really KC match, I never bought lunch at Meadowbrook again out of my own pocket.
Somebody had a sponsor. I hear you.
Never buy lunch again. Yeah, man. There's some girl in the classroom sponsor lunch, or if I went to the cafeteria, the ladies that work in the cafeteria, they always give me my food. They always. They either they share a plate out waiting for me, or they say, here you go. Always. I went 3 years and never spent money out of my pocket.
It's what with Aaron or Freddie. I remember somebody come on earlier and I remember them call it the girl. I mean, I don't disrespect my girl on them. I call it cleanly. Season girl. Like the girl with that there with the man them or front up with the man them who play on the Manning Cup team or them run a champs. I was privileged for both of that, because you got champs, come big up yourself. Say well known at school. Yeah.
Yeah, man. They were actually my favorite. And you're probably gonna ask me this question later on. But my favorite two girls in Meadowbrook when I was there, man. One was my head girl, Andrea Markland, and the other girl was Marcia Leckie.
So how did you meet them? How did you end up meet them, Ira? Tell me how that go.
So Andrea Markland was the head girl. So she came into the auditorium one day when I was in there, rounding up some kids and telling them to go to class. And because my whole concept was not only to be a student athlete at the time. I wasn't thinking student athlete, but I wasn't only thinking like, you just play a ball and that was it.
Yeah.
For me, the education thing was serious. So when I go to the auditorium and kids were hanging in there, banging on the piano or, just running around, I was like, hey, the bell ring, y'all got to get up out of here and go to class. And one guy was like, who are you? You can't tell me what to do. I said, yes, I can. So I tapped him on the back of the head. I said, get up out of here and go to class. So they all left. I went to class. I think Andrea was walking in and she saw me. And then she called me one day, was like, hey, that was good stuff. That was good stuff you do. Let me know if you need anything. So she was the head girl, so I kept her close to me in case I needed anything at all. But then Marcia Leckie on the other side, she pulled me up one day and pulled me into the chemistry lab, and just sitting down there talking. She said, anything you need, let me know, anything. So if I had problems, I heard Freddie says he had a third former helping him out with schoolwork. But for me, I had a sixth former helping me out with schoolwork, So every day it was like 1 o'clock, but nothing was going on. That's where I was.
Mm-hmm.
In the chemistry lab with Lecky, just going over work. She gave me work to do, different things to work on and stuff like that. So I was able to keep up and get caught up with some of the stuff that was going on.
Yeah, that was excellent. Them two girls, me and them go Meadowbrook from first farm, Andrea Markland and Marcia Lecky. Real class girl them there. You're right.
Oh yeah. So, I didn't, because for high school at the time, you really have to have a serious study plan.
Yeah.
To survive. I mean, I'm coming off of just go in the classroom, look at the board, take some notes, and go and just be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But in when I get to Meadowbrook, you got to be answering questions in the class. Got the teacher pointing you out and said, "Okay, Ari, what you got?"
Mm-hmm.
So that was great. That was great for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you come Meadowbrook now. At what time? At what period? The first year, the second year, decides you got to take up running and become big time, long distance runner. Because John come on and I say, I used to try a thing. Right? John, no problem, no the history.
Yeah, I want to correct that record. Tell John I did win the champion boys.
You might go hear this. Because John dismissed it and I say, I used to try a thing. I say, yeah. So what point did you decide to take up? For start, go ahead, you tell the story about how you get involved in a track and field at Meadowbrook, Ira.
Well, the dread is the one that roped me in.
Hold on. Don't slip over that, because I mentioned a man where all powerful all our life. When did you meet Mr. Ear, or the dread as they call him, as the affection they call him? At what point if he rope you in?
The dread called me to his office one day.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally threatened me for real.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if you don't participate in the track, you're going to have problems. And I'm like telling him, I was like, man, this track thing is not my thing. And he said, oh, no. It is going to be your thing, and you should participate. This is your school, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he saw me running or whatever it was. But he's the one that he said, you have to do it. And even, I think I went to Gibson Relay before I actually did Sports Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said, you're going to Gibson Relay. I said, you sure you want me to do this? He said, you can do it, go. So I end up going to Gibson Relay before even running that Sports Day. So after Gibson Relay, everybody said, "Oh, I got to run for the house," because I was all contented with sitting in the house and cheering everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And this was your first year at the school.
Yeah, for Sports Day, or more likely, hang out and check out the girls for Sports Day, because that's my thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, running, and wasn't it. And then after Gibson Relay, the Guard Shore leaders, they called me up. It was like, you got to run.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what, if I'm going to have to do it, I'm just going to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I ran the 100. I finished a close fourth in the 100, because I think Phipps or one of those guys won the 100. But I was in most of the races. I didn't even know that I was coming up close to winning, being a champion boy that year.
That's the first year, yeah.
Yeah, but that was Mr. Here, man. That was the dread. He's the one who pushed me into running for the school.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what year you won champion boy? The following year?
Yeah, so the following year I won the champion boy the following year.
And what distance you run them time then? And we are.
I mean, I run the 15, the 8. Because I beat Tony Reynolds on the 800. He thought he had it. He got beat. And then they told me the Gobblers was going to chew me up on the 50, and I'm like, okay. Then I dropped their bellies out on the 15. And I still ran the 1 and the 2, and then plus the relays.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't manage me that year. I was on fire, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know where John got his idea that I was trying a little thing, but
I for correct him, because based on the record where I say So the end up our champs, did you win points with our champs?
So this is my thing for champs, man. I blew it at champs and I beat myself up for it. But the race I had at champs, I qualified in the top. I was in the top 5 qualifier for the 1500-meter finals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my heat was super. I tore my heat up and make it to the finals. But just like everything else, I left stadium that night after my race and went home. So I live at Reynolds Road. I hit on the bus and went home and said, my race is not until 8 o'clock or 8 o'clock that night. Then I'll just go back over there. So between leaving and going home, a whole bunch of things happened, including girls and different things. So when I went back for the finals, I just made it back just before they start calling us out.
Mm-hmm.
So, put my spikes on, run down on the field. Cross from Calabar, he won the 1500 that night.
Mm-hmm.
On the final lap, going down to the 200 meter, the 200 meter mark, I was behind Cross easily, just bouncing right behind him. And between coming around for the 200 meter mark, I don't know, I fell off my spikes and went flat and could not get back up.
Oh, you drop.
Yeah. I mean, even though when I finished the race, I was still in good shape. I wasn't burnt or anything. I just lost everything I had when I came off my spikes. I was right behind him easily. I said, I got this.
Yeah.
And my plan was to take him right at the turn for the 200,
Mm-hmm.
at the 200 meter mark. And I came flat and run out. I think I came like second to last in that race.
Mm-hmm.
From the 200 to the finish.
Mm-hmm.
That's how flat I went. Even George T was in shock because he was like, where does this guy come from?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but that was my running for
champs, okay.
Yeah, for champs.
So
I think I run some of the relays as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead, Freddie. Sound like you have something to ask Sarah.
No, go ahead.
No, what I'm going to ask Sarah is, so, a 2-year you're a champion by a Meadowbrook. Okay, I said it from 78 to 81. You represent Sports Day 3-year or you just run for 1 or 2 year?
I just run 1 or 2 year. Because I think the last year I didn't bother with it. I don't think we even had Sports Day the last year. Yeah, something had gone wrong with Sports Day, I think.
I wouldn't even know because I had left already.
Yeah. I don't think we had it, Jelly.
I remember either era because me wasn't as to one know say when it comes to track and field, nobody asked me, me the slowest man on the field. Whether I run 15 or 100 meter. That I wouldn't know. You may be right, I do have the memory of that at all.
So but that's Sports Day, man. I was just taking everything down. So I don't practice track. I don't go to track practice. Those things were not part of what I do.
Football was your thing.
Football was it.
Yeah. So when I try to ask you for run, it's like it might ask you for something when I really want to do.
Yeah, but him kind of put it in a way where. That's the second time I heard somebody approach me with that because when I was at Swallowfield my last year, my team, the group, I said my team, but the group of us, we just never do Sports Day.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sports Day was when all of the girls from all the other schools will come to Sports Day to check out the athletes and stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you run, you can't mingle so good, that's what I mean.
Yeah, mingle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanna ducky syndrome. You have to be there.
I hear you. So that I suppose if you run now, you have to depend. Basically, you get distracted, and I know what I mean. I hear you. So
the PE teacher that last year that was 77 and at Swallowfield, he says if you guys did not participate in Sports Day this year, you will not graduate. And I'm like, we got to get up out of here. And that year, this guy, his name is Clive Meir, and guess who's Clive Meir?
Oh.
Stanley Donald Meir's brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Him that teacher Solofield?
Who Stanley?
No, his brother.
Stanley had left. Clive Meir was my buddy. We were on the same
Okay,
class.
yeah, Stanley brother used to run up. I never knew that. Yeah.
So he and I took 1 and 2 in every single race.
As a younger brother to Stanley?
Oh yeah, Stanley. Yeah, he was the second youngest to Stanley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we tore up sports day. I was walking home that day with medals hanging off my neck.
Mm-hmm.
So he and I was the champion boy. He was a runner-up. I came out of Solofield that year under the same premise: if you don't participate, you're not graduating. I said, I got to get up out of here. So I gave it everything I got. And then so that's after when I went to Premier College. So the Dread did the same thing to me when I came. He tried to get me to play cricket, but it never manifested out.
Yeah, tell me about that. Why would I want you to play cricket? What, him see your talent or what?
Oh yeah, so house cricket is where he saw me. So I took on strength.
After cracking.
I took on Kraken in house cricket and tore him up. Oh yeah, tore him up big time. And the Dread called me up and said, "What is wrong with you?" Like, what do you need? He says, "You can play cricket this well and you're not out here with us?" I said, "It's not my thing." But the cricket thing, Jelly, for me was I'm serious about any sports I get into. Any sports. And so the guys who were really at cricket, I didn't see that fire that they had to fire in them. But I know Dougie was a good batsman. Dougie was solid. So I probably should have gone out there and do something, because when I watch the cricket and they have, what's his name, Haynes and Tucker from KC beating them up, I'm like, what is this? This is a joke. I mean, like, no. But I was just getting to the mode because they had brought in Peggett and a lot of other cricketers, Ronnie and those guys, and they were solid guys too.
Yeah.
So I just resort to enjoy watching it more than playing. I think Tony Reynolds play?
Yeah, man. Tony Reynolds is a part of that 80 team that Freddie. Tony Reynolds is a good cricketer, man. More than a good cricketer.
Tony Reynolds played. I mean, Tony Reynolds was a favorite cricketer to me when I was Solofield, man. But
wicket keeper, man.
Yeah, was a keeper. Very good wicket keeper.
I was like Dougie, grew up in cricket. I was the captain for my youth club cricket team.
Okay, and that's Solofield.
Over at Dunmere, when I was at my home cricket team, my neighborhood team.
Oh, them have a cricket team at Dunmere.
16, 17, I'm captain of the team with a bunch of old men.
I hear you.
Yeah, same thing with the football team.
So, Freddie, you didn't know the Ira have cricket talent?
Yeah, man. See, I'm the captain Sanders team and play against Ira.
When cracking. Okay. Crack Iron, I got sure. Yes.
Yeah. Freddie, was I a good spin bowler or medium pace?
I can't remember the bowling part, But it's on the back.
Man.
I can't remember the bowling part out of my head right now. But those days, outfit was very competitive,
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You can't.
Every house have at least 5 good players, and then the average one them,
Yeah, so the guys was like, we can't beat these guys. I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
But they have all the good players. I said, don't worry about good players, man. Let's go do it.
Yeah, compete. You come for compete.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
And I set them up, man. I said, you got to go, I want you in Silimidon. I want you over there. Be like, all right, what are you doing? I said, just trust me in this one. Just trust me where I put you. After the first game, they started believing. I said, we can do this, man. Don't be bashful about cricket, man.
Yeah.
Because everybody see Kraken running from the damn fence, they start trembling. I'm like, no. Let's pick up the line and punch right through it. And that's what Dougie was talking about the other day. And he loves that forward stroke.
Yeah, man. Yeah, talented, very talented, very talented. So let me ask you something. Because apart from, well, let me ask you this question. You say never meet up again. Did you ever get a chance to meet Miss McLennan? What was your relationship like with Miss McLennan?
You mean Spanner?
Yes, same one, Spanner.
So Spanner was my menace. Somehow Spanner get onto my name, and she never let it go, because she's always Mr. Turner. That's what she called me, Mr. Turner.
Mm-hmm.
So after top left, somehow Spanner get a hold of my name. It could be from matches and, you know, kids running and talking and saying all this kind of stuff, but she started latch onto me as Mr. Turner, and she kind of used me in a way, because whenever something goes down and she come looking for me, she wants an answer. So whatever answer I would give her, she would accept it. I said, okay, I'm counting on you. And she would just take it, and then she's gone.
You mean like a eruption of one at school, like an argument or a fight, and she'll call you for say exactly what happened?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a fight, she said, what happened out there? I'm like, oh, two kids, they just get it. It's no big deal. And she's gone. She just take it. So that's the only principal office I spend more time in than I ever wanted to.
But it wasn't for you. It was about you were like our lieutenant in the school. It's like you're our, yeah.
Exactly, because even say Jim Roy and some of the other guys that we used to, you know, Ronnie and Peggy them, Peggy them was behind us in grade.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted to hang out at the fence with us when we were down there, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. First thing they were like, come on, Skipper, man. I'm like, hey, you gotta go to class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's part of the rules, you know. It's just my discipline that, you know, as a senior and as a player, you have to have certain discipline.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The way I operate out off the field is what I do on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not a two thing for me where you switch on and switch off. So I always try to maintain that. A lot of the guys will get upset sometimes. They're like, why is I acting like this? I'm like, hey, this is not an act. You got to go to class. It's not even an option. You know? Mm-hmm. So they went.
Mm-hmm.
So Spanner was very, very, very accepted, you know, and accept of that kind of attitude that I had, you know. So she kind of leaned on me a lot.
I rely upon you for certain things, yeah.
Yeah, you know. So even one day, myself and Ivan Hart got into it. I don't know what he did something, like, you know, took my book and hit it or something like that. And we got into it, and she called both of us in the office, and she said, all right, I just want to hear what Ivan got to say, and Ivan tell his spiel, and then she said, so is that what happened? I said, sound about right. She was like, okay, I'll go to class. You know, because I know she's not going to give me a hard time too much, even though she was going to hold me responsible. But what he said, you know, even though he made a part of what he said, I didn't want to prolong it any longer being in the office than I had to. So I said, yep, that's part of it.
That's how it go. Yeah, try to quash it down a certain way.
And we just move out.
Let me ask you something, Ira, back to the football a little bit, because, and this you can answer this to Freddie, because my question is, after we win the 78th season there, we kind of turn the corner in terms of mindset. How come after the 78th season there, never progress in terms of say for winning trophies in a football until we win the World Cup in 1986? Why I think the transition that takes so long in terms of say, because after that team there, 78 team, I think say we could have gone and even reach a Manning Cup final, win a World Cup. Why I think that never happened at all?
Freddie, you want to take this one or you want me to go?
Go ahead. Confirm or whatever it is.
My perspective was, Jelly, is the 78, from 77 to 78, that was the core of building a structure. So I came in 78 under the middle part of the building process. And so going into 79, we lost a ton of players.
Yeah, that would be true. That would have been
Yes.
true. Yeah.
And most of the players from that came up in 79 were the younger stars, the Ferdinand Benz, the Andrew Andrews.
Ever born at the
Yeah,
clever.
those guys are coming up, but those guys are coming up not as strong replacement for the guys that we lost.
They were
But
youngsters
guys that
then.
we-
They were youngsters, yeah.
Yeah, so guys that we still need to groom and hold their hands a little bit and make sure that they don't lose their confidence. You know, so we were able to help those guys go through the process. Myself, Tony Reynolds, I think Magic Ed was still there. And yeah, you know, so we were able to guide that part of the process and still maintain that confidence, because we were still doing pretty good in 1979. Yeah, we were still a solid team in 1979. Tony Reynolds was picking up his stuff, even though he fell off a little bit, but he still was picking up his stuff. I was still holding the middle down at rock solid pace, you know, and so the Byrons and those guys that were around us, Johnny Pecker came in by then, and so we were still in the strongest part of the building process. And so a school like Meadowbrook, where we don't have, and you said it many times on the cast, is that we don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of students. You know, so when we push guys off the team, or guys graduated or transferred to another school, the kids that are coming up, you know, are not really the strongest of the bunch. They weren't sitting on the bench waiting for that time to play. They were actually sitting off the bench. You know, so by the time 80 rolls around and the younger players start to build up their confidence and start rolling into good stuff, you know, they were rock solid. The Witters and those guys were, and Andre Goodison. So those guys were now in a stronger process, because now they're saying, you know, the keeper, like, you know, Alwayne and Tippy, they want to be like Freddie now. You know, so now they start talking Freddie and Ira and Coney, and so that's the kind of thing that helps the core, you know, of the process. When you have players come behind you and says, I'm going to stand up in the middle like Ira did. Or I'm going to be in between the sticks like Freddie. This is what Freddie will do, or how he operates. You know, so we know that mentality is there. And so that's what the Wits of them came in with, strong mentality and powerful, and were able to say, yeah, we can beat Casey, we can beat JC, we can beat Calabar and Georges and all those schools, and start, you know, playing some real good solid ball.
On a consistent basis. Freddie, have anything to add to that?
One thing is, remember our first 3 games in 79, you know, we were the leading goal scorer in Manning Cup. We scored 5 goals in 3 consecutive games.
Yep.
We scored 15 goals in 3 games.
Yeah,
So
we were destroying teams. We were destroying teams. Serious.
And, you know, Freddie Bent was like one of the players who we were looking to pick up and lead the way.
Yeah.
What in 79 we had a good game, because even my last game 79, Devon told me that was a rebuilding process, basically. I want to look at some of the young players. So not some young players and things like that. And we're looking forward to 1980. In 1980, some people migrate, just leave out and go out of school.
Yeah.
It went on.
Magic Ed for one.
What happened here is that 1980, Devon, who we were looking to come back to school and coach a team, were unfairly dismissed by the school.
Yep.
I was going to ask you that, you know. I was going to ask you when Devon leave. What all had to go?
It was really unfair, because what happened is we were planning for 80, believing that Devon would come back.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
now, Christopher Virtue was the manager at the previous teams. I think he was the manager 79 and
78, 79.
yeah. So he wanted the team. And the thing is, I'm not afraid to say it because I know as a fact that it's true. He wanted the team. Because even in 79, St. Catherine High School led us 1-0 on a penalty. If you remember the penalty, I came, hit the ball out, and Jim Roy fouled the guy or whatever, and they got a penalty and they scored the penalty. And he got up off the bench,
Walk away.
and said, Meadowbrook never come from behind and win a game yet.
That's a virtue.
Very true.
We came back and we won that game 5-1. Remember, Ira?
Yeah, we Catherine, Trenchtown, Campion. Those were baby food for us.
Yeah, we're just breathing through and playing good football. Camperdown stop us at the end. And Devon told me at the final game that, Ishkak, if you don't feel like keeping, let me give Bobby a run and let him get a chance because I'm looking towards 1980.
That was
so
Bobby.
Bobby Smith.
Yeah.
That's my reserve. Yeah, so Devon had plans for the team going forward with the Andrew Earl and the rest of the kids.
Ferdinand Bent and John Pecker.
Yeah, but by the whole thing break up, the whole rhythm that we developed in 77 going into 78 and so on, broke up when Devon left.
Yeah.
And the other players who left with Devon, I came back to play now, and some other players now. And after I realized it wasn't Devon who will be the coach,
the vibes changed. No, I understand what I'm Freddie. No, I understand exactly what.
This is the whole that process.
Devon a build a process, and then in the middle of that, no, a man come organize a coup, and Devon wasn't there no more.
Exactly. So when I found out what really happened now is that it was reported that Devon allowing his players to be in discipline. We were smoking cigarette, and there's one player who used to smoke on the team, one, and he would admit it, and the older person was Jim Wright. Jim Wright's the only one who smoked on the team. I didn't smoke, Tony didn't smoke, nobody smoked. But he was telling the administration that Devon were allowing players to be in discipline, and Devon was of his favorites, and Devon all the people I could say Devon was favorite. When it wasn't favoritism, it was that we live in Marvelly, and Devon would give us a ride down because he was going to Duane Park.
Exactly.
So he was saying now that me, Jim Roy, Ricky, and so forth, who used to ride with Devon, were Devon boys, and Devon allowed us to do any and everything, and that was not true. Devon wasn't a loud coach, he wasn't noisy, but to me, he has influenced my football career and my process forward in a lot of ways. That broke the system, and then we have to rebuild.
It's a complete rebuilding thing because I call him the process take over during the interim there because that's why Carrick bring come is not a good thing, you know. Because if my Carrick news go to school and mash up a rhythm with it go on. Come here, I wonder how come we win and beat up good team and the transition never take place, but Devon leave unceremoniously. Devon never leave on a good term. The term I said, like a man fight him out of the job, as I say. And that answer will be a question, Fred. That answer a question, I wonder just since
he didn't and wasn't there as a coach again. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, when I tried to find out why Devon leave, then start getting the and on a personal note. I cut out any time of your time, Ira, but on a personal note, it's a tradition with the Virtues. Because the older brother tried to dethrone me when I was coaching at JC.
I know most of them related for them related.
Two brothers.
Yeah, so one you have two sons go KSA.
No. The both of them, the Virtue that was at Meadowbrook coaching, Christopher.
Yeah.
He also went to JC, you know.
Oh, I never know that.
Yeah, but they came in sixth form.
Yeah.
But I don't think with me, Jelly.
Oh, I mixed up. Ventura, I mixed up. It's sorry, Freddie. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Ventura and Virtua are two different.
Yeah, right. Mix up in a mid, yeah.
No, Marv is a different. Marv Ventura is a different.
Yeah, no, but that clear in my mind, Freddie. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, in terms of name and whole attitude. And
Yeah. So yes, Christopher, hold on with the Meadowbrook. They have a brother work at JC one undermine you when you're there at JC too.
And me, basically, I have to. It's a long story. I can't go into.
No. But basically, what I say is the same Carragher bring come and try when them used to get to that Devon.
Yes.
Same thing. We don't have to say not much more than that because when they have to even go in at that time. As I say, to answer the question I may ask is that a system that started under Devon Jeffrey, a system where work, and during the middle of that system there, when the system would have transitioned to a higher level, someone use some Carragher bring something and mash up the system, and Meadowbrook fall a little bit until the Dread took over back the system and rebuild and lead it to the championship in 1986. As simple as that.
Simple.
Yeah. Solid, man. So the major shift, Jelly, was actually the mentality at Meadowbrook.
No, that is important. That never changed at all.
That was the major shift, man, because we went from stop being as long as we don't lose by to how much we're gonna win by. So that was the major shift.
Yes, important thing there, because that shift was big for me. I remember when I play football, I come out and I go watch a Manning Cup train and I train, because Patrick could have trained and I train with the team. I know I can't make the team, but I go train. But the mindset to me that take over in the cricket. And it established in a way where when I play school now, the mindset to take over the whole school, you know. So when I play cricket match now, we just say no, we're not thinking that school is supposed to can beat it. That is why we end up win a certain amount, we win some trophy at the time. You follow me? I said to you, that shift.
Oh yeah.
That much.
Because them used to be with us, it was like the Ronnie and the Egged and those guys that were there, they were rock solid because they were thinking the same mindset as football team.
Yeah.
So they wanted to have their say when we go to the fence and talk sports.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it start to build in. It start to build in, man. And we always encourage everyone to just go out there and play,
Yeah, man.
Because Freddie and I wasn't going to be there forever. Freddie could have came back and played in 80.
Yeah.
I could have tried to come back for the 81 season, but, my time was to move on.
And more important, I think about it tonight. Maybe if Devon was there, we'd have come back,
Yeah, we'd have figured. Yeah, we'd have figured.
I said to you, Freddie, if Devon was there, more likely to come back, But because Devon and the circumstance, it wasn't a nice transition. It wasn't a peaceful transition. It's like a co-what me say.
And with Devon was, Devon treated us in such a way. He didn't give us any favors, but he was like a big brother and a father at the same time.
Yeah, man.
Devon was rock solid, man. He was rock solid. The guy, he doesn't yell, curse. Tony Reynolds, like Tony, you can't run past the man.
Yeah.
That's it. The loudest I heard Devon in my years at Meadowbrook actually is when it's 79 when I was playing for Marbury and we made it to the Major League playoff rounds. And I think Marbury was playing Boys Town at the time, and I was in the middle running from end to end. I reached the box. And I heard Devon Jeffrey in the stands yelling, "Ira, I know you're alone a player."
Yeah.
So that was the loudest I even heard him out there.
That was one of the good things with Devon. Devon would follow us anywhere we play. If Pembroke was playing and I was playing, Devon would turn up and give support from the fence or wherever.
I support you.
He wouldn't just coach us in Manning Cup, but he would look after our welfare. Every way, school and everything.
I had no idea he was in the stands, man.
Me ask a question because it does come up in my mind today, I think, and I say. And then we start with cricket before we start with football. No, I understand because the cricket never got through that the transition there. The Dread come in and take over and the Dread introduce a system and then the mindset, the change. And the Dread reinforce the mind. The Money Cup, the Money Cup seemed to change the mindset of the school. Because I'm going to change my mindset in terms of that and change all the youth that come to school. Because Luke quick talk about it, Tony more talk about it, where them come and them see when I play and them see I beat up big school and a man the share my school no more. And a generation that you'd go on and go win the Walker Cup and Nutriment Shield in 1986. The one that come as soon as play Ira.
Yes, rock solid.
Yeah, man. Come on and look and say, yeah, but Meadowbrook a big school and a small school. So that was sometimes other things and you realize the influence they have on people and you don't know some are watching now.
But I'm gonna say this because when we start out the conversation, we start out with support for the student them and the student athletes them. But I'm gonna tell you this: 1986 Meadowbrook win Walker Cup. 1987 KC win all of the cups, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know where I was in 1987?
Where?
KC.
I mean, where?
I was working with George T in his cafeteria. I was running the cafeteria at KC for George T.
Oh yeah, working at KC.
Yeah, I was working there. But George T's philosophy and the reason why he's running the cafeteria is because all the athletes, whether you're a football player, runner, cricketer, you don't pay for your lunch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You get lunch, and he said this is the reason why he was running the cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
But the student athletes don't have to pay for their lunch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So my job was to make sure all of the athletes eat for free and everybody else pay.
Mm-hmm.
So that year, George T got called to coach a juvenile team when they were traveling. So I think they were in Trinidad or they were somewhere in the Caribbean playing. And he says, well, I'm going to leave you in charge of the team. I'm like, me? He said, no. He said, what about these old boys? Everybody's down here. And he says, no. He says, you are here with them every single day. You feed them, they talk to you, they know who you are, and they will listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And he left me with the Money Cup team that year when he went to coach the national...
The junior team at Trinidad, the Jamaica juvenile team in Trinidad.
Yeah, I was the one coaching them going into the championship games.
Until he come back,
Until he came back.
Yeah.
And after I kept them there for those couple of weeks, the principal, forgot what his name is, but he came down to the cafeteria and he said, you know what? This is the most disciplined I've ever seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Because he stayed from his office up the hill and watched the whole field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I had them there. I made some changes because we were playing a practice match and we played against Arnett Gardens, a practice match. This is the Money Cup team playing against the Major League team.
Mm-hmm.
And they were giving us some problems in the first half. And the second half, I switched it up. There's a guy named Lucan Brown. I pull him off. He was a defender. I pulled him off the defense and put him up top and switched the left back to the right back.
Mm-hmm.
And we end up destroying them Arnett Gardens for the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought that into the Oliver Shield championship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Halftime was 0-0, and I wasn't even on the bench because when the coach came back, I went into the stands. And I told them halftime, I said, hey, McCray, because the captain was David McCray. The Ventura you're talking about, Jelly, he was on that team.
Yeah, Brico, yeah.
Brico Ventura. So I told them, I said, look, hey, you remember what we did against Arnett Gardens? They said, yeah. I said, okay, tell the coach that's the switch you want to make.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when they came out, the coach asked them, so where is he? Because he cannot sit up in the stands and send down information down there. He needs to be on the bench.
And
he called me down there, and they switched and put Lucan Brown up top, and they didn't know how to deal with Lucan Brown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they ended up winning. But that's where I was, in 87. But
yeah,
at that time, Carl Brown called and said he want me to come down for the national tryouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, I got a ticket to the United States in my hand, and the plane is not leaving me, so I don't care what y'all do. I'm out of here.
Well, it's a ticket for go foreign, as I say.
Yep, gone, man. Gone.
No, you know, the ticket that left you at all, right?
No, man. Jelly. Carl Brown called me. The coach, Constant Spring at the time, Mr. Chin, he called me too.
That's a keep it Chin.
No, Kippy. Mr. Chin used to run the Major League team that time.
Who?
Her name Lynn.
Danny Lynn.
Danny Lynn.
Lynn.
I keep it in here. Danny Lynn. To run up a
Danny Lynn. He called me and he said, hey, I just want you to come at one practice. And I said, Coach, I'm leaving. Guess what the guy did? The guy sent me down to Sporting Goods, and I pick up sweatsuit, track shoes, boots, shorts, socks, jersey, everything. He said, get the full set. I want you at one practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to one practice, and he looked at me and he says, now I know why these guys are so excited whenever they call your name up here.
Mm-hmm. For spring, for Constant Spring.
But my date was to leave was December 23rd.
You know, I'm not playing to leave you right?
No way.
I hear you, I know that go. But let me ask you something, because we mentioned a man name, we can't brush past it, and in my mind, you know, I'm the best striker ever come to Meadowbrook, you know, and him come 1 year when you're there, you know, or 2 years, Johnny Pecker.
Albert Pecker.
Albert Ashley.
We grew up on the same turf, man. Over Father Pope, we call St. Richard's Father Pope.
Yeah.
Yep, and come on.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Pecker, one of the most deadliest.
Yeah, man.
You know, when Johnny Pecker started out, he was playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we pull him off the defense in our minor league game and put him up top, and he'd never looked back ever since.
I'm playing minor league for Medieval.
For Medieval.
I remember that.
I'm joking about that now. When Johnny Pecker get called for the juvenile team, them have so much strikers, and I try to push him at wing back to get him out of the team.
Yep.
I know Johnny Pecker made the team at wing back.
At wing back.
Kind of try to fight him out, kind of a big brand name. Yeah.
And so that year, those years, man, between 78, 79, 80, 81, a lot of things, everything happened in Jamaica football was politics. I didn't feel no waves. A lot of guys go, who come in? I said, hey, I'm not into politics because I'm uptown and that's where it's happening, and I love it. I love it. There was no politics uptown, you know, at Meadowbrook, Ridders, no politics.
Definitely, that's football I want to play.
Strictly football, man. But Johnny Pecker's a solid dude, man.
Now, let me tell you how I describe Johnny Pecker. Let me see my play, and Johnny Pecker play. Johnny Pecker remind me, because I couldn't take him off of the ball. Once he hold the ball, and the only other player come to my mind when he hold the football was the great Diego Maradona. Because I see him when them compact and thick, and him leg them. It's like once Johnny have the ball, you couldn't move him at all. You couldn't not take him off of the ball, man. Deadly and wicked. So, yeah. Yes.
What me tell you, say, over St. Richard's, the concrete, or you going to the mesh fence? And that's how both of us grew up and start playing. And out of our community, before Barnes and them youth, they start do them thing. And me and Johnny Pecker, as the youth, them were a lead the community in a sports. I can play football, I play football and cricket. Yeah. So one of the highlights in my career as a player, as a person, about 5 years after me the day up in the States, I'm go down to visit. Up on Riddles Road, and I wait for the coconut man to cut a coconut water for me. And a man walk up to me, an older guy for me in a jelly. And walk up to me, and I see him coming in my peripheral vision to pick him up, you know. And I start think, I hope I think, because them time them in the military up here, you know. And I think I hold up a thing. I said, this guy, him come straight towards me. And the man literally walk up to me and stretch out him hand and say, hey, I just want to shake your hand. You don't know who I am, but because of you, I watched some of the best soccer ever playing in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And me went from tension to chills in a matter of seconds.
Because I come here down here for test him, I come test you physically.
Physically. But Wim said to me, it resonated because the whole community used to come watch football when we are playing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Especially when we start, me and Pekka end up in a Meadowbrook.
Yeah, man. The whole of that really road community usually come at the Money Cup match. That was like a Meadowbrook belonged to the Meadowbrook too. Yeah, that is true, Ira. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
And he was right. I didn't know who he was. Never seen him before. So what we did and what Meadowbrook gave me the opportunity to do is not only to play ball, but to actually energize the community, give them something to cheer. We never have the Tivoli group or the Marlborough group or none of those group. We have Reddit's Road group.
And Reddit's Road never really have a team for sure. You're right.
And the Reddit's Road never had a team.
Mm-hmm.
So the Meadowbrook team comes to be the Reddit's Road team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is true.
So we draw that entire community into Meadowbrook in a way where if it wasn't for football, that community they would never be able to go in Meadowbrook in the first place.
Yeah, and more than that, more than going the year before going Meadowbrook, it make them feel good, Ira. It make them feel good about them because that's how the man come to again, you know. It make them feel proud for say, yeah, them two youth come out of our ends and big up our school. Yes. Yeah.
My first khaki uniform when me get the tailor in the community build me my uniform and him say, yo, you don't owe me nothing.
Yeah.
The proud, proud that we.
Yeah.
I bring the community and carry the community that way. That.
Yeah, it meant a whole heap to the community. I wouldn't have known that, Ira. That's a good story I tell me. It meant, and you never know that really. You never know that until you come back. So the influence you and John Pekka would have had on the community when you not play for Meadowbrook.
I never know. I never know. I know people were coming to the game, but most of the people that I know was coming to the game was my cousins and the guys that were on the street where we play ball.
Oh, your friend them, right. You know, I know other people,
But the other people, my old man passed away in 2019. God bless his soul. And when I went for the funeral, an older guy from the community, he looked at me and he says, I'm going to buy you a drink because you have one of the best left foot in football. And I'm like, since you watch football? He said, I've been at every single game you guys play. And he's talking about me at one of the best left foot in football.
And that's a man from your community, same era.
Yeah, from the community.
Yeah.
I had another guy, Jelly, I'll tell you this one about cricket. A guy that I've never seen in like 20 years. He's older than us, though, me and Pekka. About 3 or 4 years older. And when I get 20 years later, I had my phone rang and I answered the phone and he was on the phone and he says, hey, I just want to let you know I just got in a bar fight over you. I said, over me? He says, yes. And I said, why? And guess what he said? He was telling the guy that he got into a fight with, and I hope it was an argument at the time, that if he had not seen me playing cricket, he don't know what he's talking about because Brian Lara is nowhere close to me. Yes, he was average.
Yeah. I still remember you, Ira. Yeah.
This dude was serious, man.
Yeah. You have some man in your community, some community that say them with a man. Look, one year, look at youth, and To your button or you play them, and them not forget it, you know. Them don't forget
No.
it, Freddie. Them don't forget that at all.
Brian Lara has nothing on me, and he was taking that point to a fight. And I'm like, wow. I say, dude, you know that I haven't touched a cricket bat in 20 years.
No make no difference.
Didn't make a difference, man. So those are the kind of things for me that when I hear these things later on in life, man, I have that feeling like, you know, you did do something. Or you did leave something.
Yeah, you leave an influence on the school itself, the youth them will come on, we talk about that, and you leave an influence on the community. Where you would even realize that it uplifts the community a certain way, because them look on pound and respect on a certain way, because when you come out of film community, out of your own community, and them look up to you certain, it's a big thing that era.
Yes.
You know it still, you know it until long afterwards, I'm gonna say, remember that.
When I run into which of them in New York when they were playing the alumni tournament down in Evander Charles in the Bronx, and when I went down there, and those guys, they opened the gate and they let me in, and everybody else got to pay. And they said, okay, skipper, what we're going to do? I'm like, whoa, you guys running the team. I'm here to support. They said, no, you're the skipper.
Yeah, yo.
You know, so that tells me that we did something great, and we did a lot of good things when we were there. You know, so it left them with something to look up to and look forward to.
Yeah, man, a lot of money influence, man. Both in a Meadowbrook community itself and in a your community on Redledge Road, where it's like you're not even realize. But let me ask you this, because who are some of the teachers them where you remember, apart from Spanner? You talk about Spanner. Another teacher I remember where inspire you a certain way when you're at Meadowbrook.
Spanner, Miss Pottinger was my favorite teacher.
What she teach?
She was a language teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was very serious about language and the way we speak and the way we write. You know, so she didn't take no half reading and writing stuff. You got to bring it for her. And Rory McGregor.
Rory, yeah.
Mr. G was another cool guy too. So those are the teachers that there was many more teachers, but those are the teachers that you know, they always stop and said, hey, you know, you need to tighten up here.
I hold you accountable a certain way.
Yeah. You know, and Miss Campbell too. Miss Campbell, she was rock solid too.
That's the guidance counselor Friday.
Campbell.
I don't remember where I talked.
You know, Miss Campbell, man. Miss Campbell was the guidance counselor.
Oh,
yeah, I think I searched the name for sure. I never come to mind. Maybe. Yeah.
Miss Millwood.
No, there's a teacher from Miss Millwood. Yes, I think I'm right.
There's another teacher named Mr. Here. Not Mr. Here, Mr. Near.
Sanir, Lied Near. Yeah.
Yeah. He came out of Swallowfield too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was another rock solid guy down there. But you know, teachers in general, I usually give them the most utmost respect because they gave me that that respect. And if they were leaving the class and they said, Ira, you're in charge of the class, I mean, I take that serious. Oh yeah. So Booberoy would do certain things, and I'm like, okay, you're supposed to be reading, but you're not. Your name goes on the board. And then he would think I'm joking. I'm like, nope.
Yeah. I'm not to get serious.
Ira, kind of discipline I had, man.
Go ahead, Freddie.
Eh? That's what Jim Ryan is. My little kid was.
Yeah. So, all right. Let me ask you this. Since I talk about students, I mentioned Jim Ryan him. What's some of the student in the school? They not for be football or cricket or track. What's some of the student? You talk about Marshall like Andrew Markton. What other students that stand out? That didn't stand out. Do you remember?
Sharon was the top netball player. Robinson.
Sharon Robinson. Okay.
Yeah, she's top netball player. Some of the other senior guy, them, So like most of the younger student them, like the which of them, they were always around. Mitchie, hey Freddie, what was Mitchell last name?
Mitchell name, man. Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Mitchell am
Yeah.
last name. I went
And
to first name again, Freddie.
he went off and joined the military and do some different things.
Yeah.
Then you have Bob the goalkeeper.
Bob Campbell, yeah man.
Bob Campbell.
Bob Campbell. Gorilla Bob, yes.
Ronnie the cricketer. Then there was a lot of kids there, man. Joseph Wood.
Mm-hmm.
I think
You never played Piggy?
Piggy.
Yeah.
Piggy Williams, and then Piggy came in on the 80 team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was some rock solid. So our class was really 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 a positive class. Everybody kind of helped everybody out and support each other. Jeremiah Moody, those kind of guys. Some kid may look down on Jeremiah because he dressed a certain way, but when he's with me, they don't look at him that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They see him as Jeremiah because that's what I brought to the table. I didn't, so I was able to really influence, respect, accountability, and those kind of things. So if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah.
There was a kid named Fisher. I think he was in that class too.
Fisher. Maybe that's after me too.
Like Robert Tarr and those guys. They were in the other, in other fourth form, classes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
My acceptance in the Meadowbrook was a positive one.
Mm-hmm.
And more so for not even for soccer or playing football or cricket or running track, but just for me as a person.
Yeah, and did that surprise you, Ira, when you come out of school? Did you expect to be welcomed the way you were?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did because I had that confidence. Because when I left from Swallowfield, man, I was rock solid.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving from Swallowfield, there's a guy up there named Mr. Roberts. He's a whole soldier. He was rock solid.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miss Johnston, she was no joke.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss Johnson held me accountable every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Roberts was the same thing. When I went to Prembacall from Swallowfield, we were still calling teachers teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Hey teacher this, teacher that. But when I went to Prembacall, they said, hey, you got to say Miss. I'm like, why you got to say Miss?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, you got to, we call her Miss Jones or Miss Thompson. That's their thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, for me, it was like, isn't she a teacher? And they'd be like, yeah, but we don't say teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm leaving at Swallowfield, that's what you say to the teacher, hey, teacher this, teacher that. So when I got to Meadowbrook, it was the Mr. Johnson or Miss Pottinger. So that stuff I picked up at Prembacall before I got to Meadowbrook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had that confidence coming in. I was coming in knowing, I can do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing for me was a lot of football players never graduated from high school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Right? Either they left or they just never graduated.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, graduation was not an option. It was not graduating was not even an option.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I came in and felt like, I can do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
can do this. The students were super. There were no people looking down and saying, oh, they're football players. They don't have to do any work and none of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we came in, woodwork classes and all stuff was new to me for woodwork. But, we went in there and I did the stuff I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that can break you, I came in and meet these guys at a more mature level than where they are coming up to the system.
Mm-hmm.
And they started at first farm, second and third, and then they run into Milford with a different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was very welcoming. I'm telling you, the first guy I talked to, the very first person I talked to was Andrew King.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's what I said. Well, question I asked him, I said to myself, did you expect such a welcome then from Meadowbrook? That's a question I asked.
I didn't know what to expect when I, for school.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I got at Pembroke and coming out of there and coming into Meadowbrook. I was thinking almost the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because Pembroke, I was, again, Pembroke was rough. When I say rough, I mean rough. My first day, I had a knife pointing at me for my lunch money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I only got like $2. I could give you $1.
Yeah.
That was my reasoning. And the guy was like, we need all your money, right? And then this girl came from nowhere. And she says, you cannot even touch him.
Yeah.
She was like, go ahead, touch him if you want. And I'm looking at her, I'm looking at them, I'm like, okay, so who are you? And, she said, my brother will come up here, so go ahead and touch him.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am, I know how to defend myself, and this girl is defending me off the bat, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, I described something very important. This is, to me, the beauty of Meadowbrook, Because I know the two places, but Pembroke's in a Pembroke community, but it's up on the border of Marvally.
Yeah, Marvally.
Right, and Waterhouse just cross the road on the Washington Boulevard. So it was a tough. But look what's around Meadowbrook. There is no community was around Meadowbrook where people are coming around. That never happened at all. That would never happen. No man a threaten you for say. Yeah.
And that was my main intention to choosing Meadowbrook was to ensure that I could leave from Meadowbrook in a hurry and get home.
It's safe in Meadowbrook. A certain sense of safety. Yeah.
I know we're talking about Meadowbrook, but I had to run from Pembroke before the football season started because the guy who lost his game at left wing told his friends that I beat him up. And they came looking for me.
You want to friend them, yeah. And
I had to run from Pembroke straight to Reynolds Road, non-stop. Non-stop.
Yeah.
And then, so my buddies in my neighborhood, now they was like, hey, you want to go back down there? I'm like, yeah, but I'm going back, but you guys can't go.
Mm-hmm.
They said, we got to go fight and, I said, no. I got to go to school.
Yeah.
And so that was my thing. My thing was always to be in school.
Yeah.
So I went back, and fortunately for me, the day when I went back, the next day, one of the guys I was at cadet with at Upart Camp, who lives in Waterhouse, he was at the school visiting a girl that was in my class. And these jokers saw him and got nervous because I was talking to him, and he says, so is everything cool on you? I know these guys over here are rough. I said, no, everything is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what, a matter of fact, some guys chased me the day before, yesterday. And he said, that was you running past me?
Mm-hmm.
He said, so what do you want me to do? I said, nothing. And luckily, after that meeting with him, those same guys came back and apologized to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, I didn't know you know him. His name was Skeng. I said, oh, I didn't know you know Skeng, man. Mm-hmm. Everything is cool. Okay, we're good. I'm like, oh, yeah, we're cool. Yeah. After the first game, I'm their biggest. They became my biggest fan after the first game.
Yeah.
So football actually carried me a long way, and when I got to Meadowbrook, I know it was not going to be any difference. I just had to play and help the team and help the community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same way I ended up in Meadowbrook for the minor league team.
Mm-hmm.
Same way.
Mm-hmm.
And then Major League, and I stayed there for the Major League. And then, 79, I went to Marvel League. So Freddie, 79 when I was at Marvel League, you were at Pembroke?
79. So, yeah, I was at Pembroke.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marvel League was tearing up Major League then, man.
Now, well, just I get established and I run the place. So,
Yeah. And Bully become a big star after that. And I was telling a lot of guys, so when I was at Marvel, man, Bully was still picking up balls on the sidelines.
Not a pity.
They
You're right.
they were like, him and Puppet.
Big time baller, that man. Big time baller.
And Puppet, yeah. So that's the life for me. Was Meadowbrook actually transcend me into who I am today.
A different level. Let me ask you that. I just talk about it. Let me ask you that. Let me ask that question first. Any embarrassing moment you remember at Meadowbrook where you can look back with a smile now and I say, "Rotted." Any incident at all? On the football field?
The only incident I have is, and I still have the scar on my chest, right under, like just close to my chest, close to the middle of my chest, where Booberoy stabbed me with a pencil.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the heck he was doing, but somehow, I turned around to move and he ended up stabbing me with a pencil. And then I went to the nurse's office and the nurse said, "Okay, so what happened?" I said, I don't know, I accidentally walked into this bench, and she looked at me, she'd be like, "You don't accidentally walk into anything."
Yeah.
Like, seriously, that was it. There's nothing else I can tell you. And she said, "I know there's a lot more you can tell me because you don't accidentally walk into anything." I said, "What happened?" And she pulled the letter out and patched me up and sent me on my way. And she said, "You could always come back and tell me what happened, And I'm like, "Yep, got it."
Yeah.
So that was the only moment in my Meadowbrook life where, things could go a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But I always, my thing is, if you're not really threatening me and force me to shake you down a certain way, then life is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I'm on the field and you want to kick me over, do it. Because it's not going to really happen a whole lot. So, I don't take things personal. And Freddie will tell you better than I can that the only time I am in a zone is when I'm on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if it's practice or games or a practice match, when I'm in the middle and the game starts, I'm just like focused. And after the game, I'm done. After the game, I have never walked off a field, win or lose, and say, "Well, you should have done this," or "It's you." No, the game is over as far as I'm concerned.
You left it all out on the field, everything up on the field. Yeah.
Every single time.
But hold on, Freddie, that time about an incident or one time, you get mixed up with you over Terrellang Yard. You don't remember that incident, eh?
Remember Patrick Terrellang. So what happened, Freddie?
No, it's you probably you didn't realize. Remember, we used to go. No, I never got out of it anyway. But Terrellang used to let people fall over the house, and there was a coconut tree right on top of the balcony.
Yeah.
So we used to go over there and hang with Terrellang and all them with it. But Terrellang's father came with the school one day, and I was walking. Remember, you and I used to have this black Puma bag, the same bag.
Yep. Remember about that.
Our pants were made the same thing because a tailor, just like how your tailor make your pants. Same pants, the color, the khaki was kind of not too khaki, but look a bit more on the grey-white side.
Aye.
Remember?
More like a dress pants, more like a dress pants, but on a khaki pants.
So the man come over now and him see me walk from the biolab. which was Miss Barber thing, and
Yep.
him asked to follow him to the office. So why this man want to ask? So I asked him why. He said to me, if you weren't on my roof just a while ago, he is not a god. This man is serious.
So you take one for the team, pretty.
Yeah, because me know say you did it for you're the only person I back like that. I have the same pants and everything. I'm true me know me never on the rooftop. Me not tell my zoo.
Yeah.
So me now refer him to Miss Barbara and say I was just in Miss Barbara biology class. I'm just coming out. And Miss Barbara walking close behind me too. So she came and said, no, Alfred was in my class just now. I just had him. So Mr. Turner start turning like him now.
It could have been because I have a Puma bag.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a good Puma story. We just got the gears for Manning Cup gears. We just got the gears.
That's how much you know, what year it is?
I think, no, this 79.
79, okay, yeah. The second year of that, yeah.
The opening game was, I played the opening game. Excel said I played in a JC. And me and Bubba decided, so we got a stadium. So we got a stadium. Bubba having back, me having back. Bubba used to wear him gold chain them. And with that stadium is, this guy walk up and say, yo, I love your chain, you know. And Bubba take off your chain, pop your chain up and make and get it guy. Remember, we have the gears over back, we just get the gears, you know. And then him look at me and say, I love your bag, you know. And we said, no, you don't. And Bubba said, hey, the money dangerous. He said, no, man. He said, you don't love this bag. And he said, what do you mean? And he reached in back pocket and break out him kitchen bitch, you know. And by the time him point the kitchen bitch at me take the bag and swing it and lick him down. Him fall about 4 steps down for the mace.
Yeah.
And then him get up and run. And me said, Bobo, you can stay as if you want, and I got me gone.
Yeah.
And he never forget that, man. He said, Brethren, what you get him on the chain for? I eat that thing that the one little man come between me and you, and you give me a chain. I joke that. We work hard.
None of the man come over from Stadium East, yeah.
Yeah, Stadium East. Most of Stadium East, the money come from.
None of the Mountain View man, them, yeah.
I guess me go down the way, man. Yeah, mad. That's why I tell you, Shelly Jelly, Meadowbrook was my thing because we can always run from Meadowbrook straight at come on.
Yeah.
You can't catch me, them can't catch me if I go across the gully bank. And them never have to run because nothing not going to Meadowbrook.
No, right, you see if I'm Meadowbrook, man. You see if I'm Meadowbrook, right, yeah.
The most dangerous man on Meadowbrook them time there was Pekka with a collar look.
Yeah. The man that sell the food.
Sell the food at the gate. That's the most dangerous man, gosh. Yeah, all you eat is callaloo and bread and callaloo sandwich and them thing.
Pekka, they come from around Command, so?
Yeah, man, Pekka come off of Release Road.
Oh, I never know. I think about the top of White Island I come from, you know. Maybe I know down point here I come from, yeah.
Mr. Pekka, man.
Yeah, a legend that himself, man. But I remember the time we locked the gate, we locked the school gate and said Pekka can't leave. The man lock out Pekka and we said,
the man lock outside.
Yeah,
you guys got it, man.
I said, none of that now going. I said, not under our watch out there. I said, yeah. Let me ask you something, Ira. Let me ask you this now. What the best learning experience you get out of Meadowbrook?
So what?
The best learning experience you have by going to Meadowbrook?
But the best learning experience I had in Meadowbrook, and I'm going to put it this way.
And number one incident in it, like where you learn. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Meadowbrook helped me and set me up for the success for me again in life right now. Because the shift from early school and secondary going into high school, it gave me a platform to learn, develop basic skills, leadership skills, organization skills. After a while, for me, football game come easy.
Mm-hmm.
And the other things is the community service part of it that I enjoy doing. You know, working with students, talking to students, you know, helping students out, and we're able to gain the respect for the seniors in school. So football player was no longer looked upon as just football players.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, especially those guys that came in on the scholarships and came in, you know, not into common entrance.
Not through the common entrance. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say mean.
You know, first form, second form.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of, you know, set me up in a way where when I came here, and for me, I came here to work.
Yeah.
School was never on my mind. I came to work. A college posted a job for an assistant coach, and I applied for the job. They called me, and when I went, the guy said, "I know you," and I got excited. I'm like, "Okay, this job is mine. He knows me." And then the guy went in his office, and he came back out, and he said, "I can't give you the job." And I said, "Why?" And Jelly, this is what the man told me. He said, "I've seen you played, and I cannot have you sit on the bench coaching when I can use you on the field."
Mm-hmm.
And the man offered me a full scholarship on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Full scholarship on the spot. And I'm like, "Man, I'm here to work."
Mm.
I said, "Guy, I got a family. I can't be thinking about school." And the next thing he said, "If you don't want a scholarship, if you recommend any player to me, I'll give them the scholarship."
Mm-hmm.
That's what he told me. Just from seeing me play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of players don't understand, that being out there playing is one thing, but playing by the rules of the game, doesn't matter how hard you play. I play hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always played by the rules. I've always respect the opponents. I've always respect the official. I never call referees like players like refs. I've never called a referee's name. I never argued a call from a referee.
Mm-hmm.
So if I make a tackle and the whistle blow, I said, "Okay, that was probably a good tackle."
Mm-hmm.
Blow the whistle, so I'm just off of it and get ready for the next play.
Mm-hmm.
If I get tackled and the referee don't blow the whistle, I know that's a good tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So next time I can make that tackle and get away with it, because he's not going to blow. He didn't blow for mine, so I'm sure he's not going to blow, for me either.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the kind of things, those are the kind of discipline that I came out of Middlebrook, and my life was centered around Tarp's message to me and Tony Reynolds that Saturday morning. He says, "My friend gave me his word, don't let him down."
Mm-hmm.
So my intention from that day was to always.
You represent Wagga, because look out, put him neck out for you, and you say, never let him down at all. I hear you.
Now let him down. I couldn't. It didn't matter what I did, because there was no way I'm going to have my name going in front of TARP and for any kind of disciplinary issues, any kind of not going to class issues or anything.
And when you left Middlebrook, now I say I look and I say, "Boy, you can't make your name go tarnish Middlebrook at all, because you represent same way."
Same way.
Yeah, I hear you.
Same way. And then I run into a guy, Andre Goodison, in Georgia here, and he was like, "Oh, Turner, yeah, Middlebrook, yeah." So when players talk about you after you left that space,
Mm-hmm.
it should be positive.
Mm-hmm.
It should be positive, and that's what I take with me, man. I'm telling you right now, I spent 28 years in the military up here.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it to Sergeant Major, which is the highest rank for the enlisted as a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And after retiring after 28 years, it's the same thing I am taking with me that same discipline, that same respect, that same, standard that I set up here, that at the end of this, your name should not be linked to anything negative. So
it's like you never forget what I tell you at all. Never.
That really set the mark for me.
Yeah.
When he says he said my friend gave me his word. Don't let him down. He didn't say anything else.
I never have to say nothing else at all. I never give a lecture or nothing. That was it.
That was it. That was it for me, and that was the stage that was set for me, and I took it. And I know it was going to be a challenge, but I take it anyways. Yeah, I could have easily said I don't, but this is all the guy called me over here for 6:30 in the morning. I don't, this doesn't make any sense.
But I hope you realize, Ira, the time I set it was itself a test,
Yeah.
The 6:30 in the morning, he must say, because if some little boy I will get up early out of them bed, come talk to me.
Yeah.
Without you realizing it, he must say, let me see how disciplined they are. I test him in a way you wouldn't even know what that yet. You see me as a Freddie?
Funny.
Because him never have set the time so early, but he must say, let me set that on ungodly early Saturday morning time. When the man don't want to get up out of them bed. But he wouldn't even realize, as footballers, Freddie, and you know this, you know this, Saturday morning we have to get up early and go on a train because we love the ball so much.
Yeah.
Early morning getting up and not for we.
And nothing. It didn't matter how late we stayed out that night.
No. Saturday morning, Freddie, you know this, that train over Patosi, you get up early for go play ball. You go and train.
Me live a year and then I still reach Patosi by 6 o'clock for training.
Exactly. God damn time the training has started. Exactly.
Exactly. So he tested us. But actually, the time he said was 7. Wagga says you got to be there at 6:30. And I said, but he said 7. He said you got to be there half an hour earlier. Let him know you're serious about it.
So Wagga get the right message too. But
So
you
I
realize
am always, anywhere I got to go, I'm always there between half an hour
half
and
an
an
hour
hour.
early. Yeah.
Always.
And you realize how powerful a message is, It's like, take it up on noon, or we as sports players, Nobody never have to discipline we, We love it and want to do this so much, We are show up for training on our own. You show up to the man house on your own. Nobody now for whip you into shape, alright. You say you get an opportunity, you go show up. You go try out to the team, or you go do this, or you go do that, yeah.
So you want to hear the next part of that encounter with Carp is when I went home and I told my mother, I said, I'm going to Meadowbrook on Monday. And the first thing she said, you can't go to Meadowbrook because I don't have any money to pay for you to go to Meadowbrook.
Friend, I see your parents to tell you too.
And I'm like, no. I'm actually in school. She said, how is it that you're in school? Who's going to pay for it? I said, there's no one is paying for it. And I said, I'm in school. I'm good. So what about clothes, uniform? I said, uniform is done. The dread is making me some lengths.
That's a tail line a year, yeah.
That's what we call it then, making me some lengths, man.
Them time they have to go downtown and go buy your length, your yard and third to get your length up.
2 yards to do, Jerry.
I didn't even go
Where's the friend? Your length at 2 yard?
2 yards for you.
For me? Yeah, this is Freddie.
And the shirt.
Eh?
That's the pants, right?
Yeah. No, because you say, your mother, the thing say, you get in a Meadowbrook, she must have been shocked for no say, boy. And that, when you think about that, Ira, all of that did up on your own, Because your parents wouldn't have known, say, you make all them connection and them links, Because that's I think would go into Meadowbrook, The connection and your links are making a lifetime link them there, Ira. Change your life in a certain way, and it's like,
change it, man. And when I listen to Witter's when I listened to Witter discussion and where Witter was coming from, man, I said, I understand where Witter is coming from, man.
You can relate to it, yeah.
I can relate because when I went home and told my mother that I was going to Meadowbrook, she was out of her mind. She's like, you can't go to Meadowbrook. I don't have any money. And I had to like calm her down and said, hey, I'm already in school. And then she turned on to, so where you getting uniform and books from? I said, the school got books. I know nothing. And then my cousin works at Joseph downtown. He brought up some lens, and the dread makes me some uniform, man.
Yeah. You ready?
You know, so I was.
Yeah. Khaki clothes at the time, pants and shirt. Yeah.
I gained so much. As a kid that I know when I go out there, I'm not representing just me. You know, it was for a whole community.
Yeah, and it's not just a matter of a community. In your case, you know, you represent your Reddit community where the commons they come from, where
Reddit Road, Whitehall.
Yeah, the people who go Swallowfield, they look and say, yeah, man.
And Manningsville Road.
Yeah, that's my youth. Him go school with me, and me used to go school with Ira Turner, and him a big time baller or cricketer, as the man I argued with the man. It make a big difference, Lyra. The people.
Yeah, I have. So the guys at Constant Spring that played for Constant Spring.
Yeah.
Most of them and I was rivals when I was at Swallowfield.
Yeah.
And I'm playing minor league, and when they told the coach that he needs to try to get me up there to play for Constant Spring, the coach came personally to my house looking for me. And when I told him that, Coach, I got a ticket and I'm out of here, man, so I don't matter what you say. And he said, okay, just come to one practice, because whenever your name is called at Spring, everybody get excited.
Big up, Ira. Big up.
Yeah. You know, so, and for me, it's just playing the game. For me, it was just respecting the communities. And it didn't matter where I went to play, I play hard. I played hard. I was in Garnet Gardens with Marverley when we couldn't go to the byline because people on the byline with sticks and knives. And I heard a guy, he called my name. He said, Ira, are you the company playing? And nobody can do you nothing down there, sir.
That I don't know how to play, I don't go.
Down in the honest. And said, let's run let out you company playing.
Yeah.
So most of the times, I don't even know the people that's talking to me.
But them know you.
About what it means to them to see me play or the game. But all I know is when I go out there, you know, I produce and I give them something to cheer for. Whether we're winning or losing. So, Freddie, I don't know if you remember this. Camperdown had played us a practice match, a bottom field.
Yeah.
And Blakey was down there. And Blakey and Johnny Pecker got into it. And then Blakey had to run down Meadowbrook Avenue and run for his life because him and Johnny Pecker get into it. And Johnny Pecker crew from Redders Road, you know.
Ready film, yes. I remember that much. Yeah.
That Manic Up year, we were at stadium playing Trenchtown.
Yeah.
Halftime came, and some of the guys from Trenchtown come and locked down our locker room and said, everybody else can come out except for Johnny Pecker.
Yeah, because Blakey crew that from over jungle come.
Yeah. So that's a Blakey crew. And I went out there, and the coach said, Ari, you can go. I said, don't worry about it. So I went out there and said, oh, look, guys, Pecker and Blakey played juvenile together, right? And they said, yes. I said, well, they're national players. And if they got issues, let them work it out themselves. They're national players. And one of the guys said, okay, Ira, all right, we got you covered. You can come out, but only because of you. I don't even know the guy calling my name. I don't even know who he is. I can't tell who he is today. But all I know is they told me that we could go back out and play, and they're going to make sure that nothing happens. We went out, we trashed Trenchtown, and they escorted us back to the bus after the game and sent the bus on its way. And I don't even know who they are. All I know is, you know, they called my name, so I'm like, okay, maybe this is going to be good.
Yeah.
And that usually happens a lot for me with someone who say, Ira, we got you, or
I don't
don't
know.
worry
And so,
about it.
most of the time, I don't know them people at all. I just man, they know you. That's the power.
I just want to know me.
That's
Yeah.
the power of the sport. That's the power of the sport. You play. I don't realize where you influence. Older, younger people sometimes. You just don't know. You just don't know. Let me ask you something, Ira, because me and you that talk, when I talked to you a couple weeks ago, you mentioned something. I have to make you mention this, because you talk about when you play against two big time Jamaica football and Clarendon, you talk about Donovan Cherry. Donovan Ray. Che.
Donovan Ray.
Talk about the incident they play against Che, and after you talk about the incident with Lenny Hyde.
So the Czech game was a Corner League match up in a Barbican.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where Barbican Czech come from, but it was a big game up there. And Byron Luckerman, him reached out to me and said, "Yo, we have a championship match and we need you up in now." Because them time there, a Corner League, any man can come in and play anytime.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No rules. Yeah.
If you need some reinforcement, you just call somebody,
You call
right?
someone, yeah. So Corner League run up down there. Yes, that is true. Yeah.
So me go up there and chair them say, boy, I chair that, I say, all right. So chair that youth where you used to just stand up on him ball and style and take picture all them thing there. So I pick up one of the middle and I latch on him and tear up him ankle. And him stand up and him say, Aya, who that you tell? And a man say, I return, and him say, who? And him start beating chest. I said, you don't know who this? And I said, no. And him say, I'm your name China. Then I said, oh, you are Donovan Ray, a long time you want to hold your man. Don't put your foot on it again. The whole place. Yeah. And of course, the man of Barbican know me. Them fan of ball, so them know what we bring to the table.
And Che big time ball them time because the people not big time Clarendon culture in the 1977. Yeah.
So the thing now with me and Lenny now. So let me ask you this, Freddie. Because Freddie, you probably know this. 79, Lenny played for Boys Town and I played for Tivoli.
Sir, I can't remember him playing for Tivoli. I mean, he come from Tivoli.
He played for Tivoli 1 year, Freddie. Man, O'Neill also played for Tivoli 1 year.
I can't remember seeing them.
I think Boys Town in them, man. Tell me, know some Marvel played against Boys Town the first match.
No, never right still. You never right. But it's like, remember I played for Tivoli 1 year. O'Neill also played for Tivoli 1 year.
Yes, I'm from Tivoli, so I think him come from Oxford Street.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was 79 though, because I hear them play for Marvel.
Maybe a Boys Town that play for a year though.
Remember Boys Town, man. It's 79.
Boys Town, man, because only Russell play defense.
Yeah, man, it's Boys Town, man. And me go down the line and only Russell left the middle and come off of me. And me stand up and I'm chest and him bounce off. And him say, youth, don't come back down here now. And I say, all right, I come back, go stay right there, sir. Every time Jackie get the ball, I say, Jackie, put it over yourself. It's a joke like this. So as soon as we get the ball, I always secure it and pass it off. Anyway, get out of there and them youth in the make because I don't want him come nowhere close to me. So me jack him one time and him bounce off of me. And him never like it. So now Lenny now pick up the ball and me go, me rush on Lenny and the make. And again the devil need a yell off of me for say and me alone a play. Because Lenny pick it up and me rush on Lenny and go so and pick it off of the ground. Me don't know how him be with him pile me. But by the time him bring it back down, dip on him again, and him goes up and down to me, and we dip on him again, and by the time he goes up a tear off him ankle, the third time he put him under my chest and hold me off, and I said, cool no you, not cool no.
First time I want to embarrass them with up on the football field, Ira.
But if you beat me and you still have the ball, you don't beat me.
No. Even if I'm salary and pile, yes, him not really beat you.
You still have it, him beat me.
No, you still up on him.
Yeah, I'm still up on him, man. The only player that me can actually say, repile me at the same time.
Yeah.
And the same player. I still end up stand up with him ankle on him foot. So,
Yeah.
I'm giving the respect. Him I said, that's cool of you.
You can't, them time Lenny a big man for you in a certain way. Can't be
Lenny
cool.
a big baller. Lenny come off for the 77 that tear up blood cleat Calabar in
Yeah.
in a championship game.
Olivier Shield, man, the best.
Oliver Shield, man, that tear up Calabar. The man that killed Calabar that year there.
The best schoolboy football team ever, man. Well, what me say, I'm here say the KC team at 65 is good, but me never around them time there. But yeah,
We never watched the ball in time there.
the KC, the Clarendon College 77 team are the best football team ever see.
Best football team ever. You see. Yeah. So, but that was my encounter with big time. Me running a Thomas McLean in the Manning Cup, so it never did do nothing for me. I play nice, the man goal make I try push me around
Intimidate, yeah.
Yeah, I'm stand
Brute force my youth, yeah.
I'm go sit down, man. I wanna
Your friend here said something?
No, I said that Lenny personality was, you know, a lot of people see him as a baller and all that. But my one different personality from all of the big players.
What do you mean?
him cool, man.
It's cool. Him just
Leonard's a cool dude.
I say me.
simple.
Him laid back, I say me. Him not be like a prima donna.
He's not a man who do for and tell some me name Lenny Hyde and me this and me that and whatever. I talk because out of all them big players we are called, me and him rap. Him do him son married to one of my niece. Alwyn sister. But you know how Lenny out there things about him just simple I tell you, down to earth. Cool person we know. Trust me.
Yeah, man, it's like really relaxed. I play against him at a different time on a business house. I think we'd have played with Devon, with Grace. And Grace Kennedy, one of them teams that play.
Yeah.
And we play against Lenny in that play for a business house team. A real cool dude, man. Yeah. Smart clean, used to run up his mouth and make peer nice.
He talk a lot.
Yeah, and goal used to go out my bad man, all them thing there.
Yeah. A brute force in my youth. Brute force in a certain way.
A
Yeah.
man tell me one time in a jelly, him say, you know, Turner, you're one of the baddest player for Kirby. Kirby said this and Kirby said, you're one of the baddest player I ever play with. And no man nobody up on the field and can intimidate you. I said, no, a ball. I said the ball round and everybody want it.
Yeah.
You know, so my intention is to always get the ball. If you want to fight, you have to fight off of the field. Because I'm not fight up on the field. I'm never getting a pushing, fighting match on the soccer field with nobody. Because the soccer field to me was a sacred place. And either you come out to play or you just come off of the field and sit down.
Yeah.
You know, so we never really figure say you have to fight on the field. We see people are fighting and push and none. Me get elbow in my face, I bust up and camp along. It never deter me from playing. But just understand that's how the game I play.
Yeah.
And the thing that me do is the way the game I play, so me play, you know, see it. But my thing was my whole concept of the game and the way me play. You know, Jelly and Freddie probably said this stuff. When me step on the field, my job was to look on the left back, the right back, and the midfielder then. Because that was my contention. Win the ball in the middle and spread the ball wide. So if you are playing in the middle with me, and your first touch the ball bounce off of your foot, me not have nothing to worry about. Yeah, because you know have it. You're not ready for that yet. You know, Steve. So and I always tell Tony Reynolds can tell you more story. But Tony Reynolds tell me something the other day. And him say when him did the Cavaliers. I mean, in the spring once, and then got Cavaliers. And when him got Cavaliers, that's when him start picking up him game in a certain way where everybody start paying attention. And him said the only thing him can hear every time he get the ball, him hear my mouth, I talk to him. I tell him, say, Brown, take on the man in the man.
I say you used to call him.
Yeah, Tony Brown.
Yeah.
You know, the bad boy, Tony Brown from Dubstep.
Yeah.
The junglist, Tony Brown for the junglist. Because them time when we did promo card, him get the name Tony Brown.
Yeah.
Because him used to just run it.
Yeah.
And him say when him got Cavaliers and him start understand, say, me never did I tell him anything negative or bad.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, me that actually tell him, and him say, him I hear it. Me I tell him, said, the man that we have play against no good enough to stand up in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And him start run the ball and go around players. Him say it come easy to him.
Come on, your voice in a female.
I'm telling this recently, you know. Recently.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you another Tony Reynolds thing where him tell me, I mean, if I put him a book, him say, him have a son a player in England right now.
Oh, really? Which division?
In the second division.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Yeah. And him say, him see him son a player, him a watch the tape them and I see him a player. And him want me to talk to him son.
Yeah.
It sounds like a joke, but it's a serious thing still enough. I said, why you want me to talk to your son, brethren? Him said, no. Him said, after him get the understanding, when me there behind him and I tell him, because me can't see the whole field. And me see when the left back who I play against him as a right winger, him to really have a good left foot. He said, Brown, take it in the man, take it inside and cut it back outside. Him left foot weak. Him I said, how you know that the man left foot weak? He said, because the first two times him touch the ball, a paper pass him make. And that was my thing, you know. My thing was to observe the opponent and pick them apart. So Jelly, when you are playing, you used to get the ball and you always turn for your right hand side. So when you know that you have to do, just step on your right hand side and as soon as you turn, just take it off for you easily. Yeah, man. So
Freddie?
Let me hear right here, man.
Oh, I think you're going to say something. So, I have a couple more questions because I believe it or not, I'm more than 2 hours there at talk. I don't look so long at all, but we're there. I have a couple of last questions to ask you because.
All right.
And one of them is, I'm going to Freddie have any question, but me come to that. The life lesson you learn at Meadowbrook, where you pass on to your friends and family.
So my life lesson is tied into the Meadowbrook matter. Ita Splendiet Lux Vestra.
Well, all right, better mean I'm going to respect that, you know. What that mean?
Every time you say Spanner, we have to say it to her.
Oh, really? That's how you remember it?
Yes.
I don't Latin your quote, I don't know that at all. Repeat again, Aaron. Let me hear it again.
Ita Splendiet Lux
Yeah.
Vestra. Yeah, my Spanner, but that's but you have to know that if you're a Meadowbrook Heights, because it's a life lesson, and when we look it up, it's a let your light so shine.
And what that
That's
mean?
what it means. Yes. So Meadowbrook is actually built on a faith-based principle.
Yeah.
So my end up in a Meadowbrook was not by a mistake or a chance. To me, it was a divine move for me.
I hear you. I say,
Yeah.
like a divine, like somebody send you there. Then it's like you did forget it, so.
Did forget Meadowbrook. I'm telling you, the first person to talk to me was Andrew, and Andrew asked me the question which I never forget. So, do you believe Jesus is Lord? He asked me the question. And one of my favorite verses, and coming out of Meadowbrook, and it's not like coming out of Meadowbrook, I understand this, it's later on in life. These are the things that manifested to me. He who is faithful in what is less, the least, is faithful also in much. And he who is unjust in what is least is unjust also in much.
Mm-hmm.
Luke 16 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when Fuller tell me about the conversation, you know,
Who that?
Wayne Fuller.
Wayne, Froggy, yeah.
I him tell me about the conversation and when we listened to the first cast and asked certain question, you know, we went back and did some research on the Meadowbrook principle and get a better understanding. So Meadowbrook is actually built on a faith-based concept.
Mm-hmm.
Because let your light so shine is a powerful thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And it's so powerful that this morning, the preacher this morning at the church service, you know, he talked extensively about letting your light shine.
Really, Ira, yeah?
Yeah, and your light can shine brighter with your connection to the Father.
Yeah.
And with each touch with the Father, your light shine a little brighter.
Yeah, that's a powerful message. That's a powerful message there. Because when Jesus said it to me first, I never think about it before, you know. Because she mentioned it too. She mentioned the Latin, but she said, let your light so shine. Now wait, now when we read it, it never say, your light, it's like it say, you can make your light shine. It's up to you to let your light shine.
Yes. But you need a connection.
Yeah, exactly.
You need a connection.
You need a connection to the Father, which is Sarah, yeah.
And Meadowbrook had that connection in it. Every person that went to Meadowbrook, over your background is, because when I listen to Cook's background and him coming to Meadowbrook, if you went to Meadowbrook and run into Cook, you wouldn't know his background.
Mm-hmm.
Unless him tell you, wish him tell you on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that went through the system, and if you go to the system, you're gonna have that connection.
Yeah, I see what I mean, Ira. You come out of school, it never matter where you come from. It's like where you come, you become one then. You become that's what I mean. I see the connection you talk about, Ira.
Exactly. You become one.
I see what I mean, Ira. I see what I mean. Because you're right. When they are Meadowbrook, there was no discrimination, no differentiation. Nobody look upon you and say you come from. There was no clique at Meadowbrook say that man they come from the area there. None of that at all, Ira. Once you come to the gate.
Never experienced that.
No, neither did I, Ira. Neither did I.
Never experienced. Nobody even asked where me come from.
No, nobody asked a question there.
Nobody ever asked a question there. Nobody even say, well, you know, a Redders Road man that man.
No, that never come up at all, Ira. That never come up at all.
At the reach Meadowbrook, you know, becomes a Meadowbrook person.
Yeah.
That's people talking about now. The focus should be on what you can do at Meadowbrook.
Yeah. We are going to
What
do
you
for
do?
Meadowbrook.
What are you
There's
going
a
to do with the chance that you got?
Yeah, we are bringing to the table. You know, come the forbidden furniture as Spanner that say.
No.
What you bringing to the table?
And I'm able to, with Freddie and Bunny and everyone and the rest of them in 78, is to put that out there like, yes, we are Meadowbrook.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we're bringing.
Mm-hmm.
When we step out there in the field, we went out there to represent Meadowbrook. We didn't went out there just to play ball.
No. It's more than football, Ira. I see what I mean, Freddie. I see what I say. Yep.
Yeah, you know, so that was my understanding. And Devon Jeffrey was a real cool dude, man. He did the right thing. He groomed us the right way. He instilled discipline. You know, and he never let anyone get away with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was that kind of. He was the guy you would think you could just get away with stuff, but he sees everything and he hears everything and he knows it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, when I came in working hard because my intention was not to sit on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, my work rate was going to keep me on the field. I believe that.
Well, that's how you get that reputation there for me, Ira. Let me tell you, say, no man no work harder than you for Meadowbrook football team. The amount of miles. I'm say, anywhere the ball you there.
Hey, as long as it's between the 18-yard boxes, man, I'm there, man. I'm
Ain't
telling you.
nobody at the all over the field, man. It's all over the field. It's all over the field. Alright, let me ask you another question before me ask Freddie if I'm having the last question or anything for you. What message did I get to the existing student or future student or staff member of Meadowbrook if they might hear this? They might hear this tomorrow. They might hear this next year. They might hear this 10 years from now. Who to tell? What message did I get to the people who I hear this now, we're going to Meadowbrook or intend to go to Meadowbrook? What message do you have for them?
I would say is to start with the motto. Learn it, get the understanding what it means, because being a part of this community is very special.
Yeah.
When you walk through the gates of Meadowbrook, you're walking into a serious institution. It's not just football and track and netball and cricket. You're walking into an institution that represents the highest quality and the highest belief that we put student first.
Mm-hmm.
I experience it more than anyone else. I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm gonna speak for me. And if you want to walk to the gates of Meadowbrook like I did, you walk in, and when you walk in out, you're gonna be a totally different person when you walk out, because Meadowbrook is a high, scholastic institution. And it's there for every single person who want to learn, who want to grow, who want to get a better understanding in life, and want to feel like they're in a community. So I would say choose Meadowbrook and get the things you want out of life, because it is there for you. The teachers were great when I was there. The students were great when I was there. And I think and I believe that legacy is passed on, because I've seen students that came after me, they're still living that Meadowbrook life. Not one person that went to Meadowbrook is ashamed to say they went to Meadowbrook. I never wanted to go to KC or JC or any of those schools. That was never, my thing, because, my thing was always, we could take those guys. And I believe that the first match we played, I said, we have this we can take. And the school started believing it, and that they have never let it go of that belief that we are a contender.
Yeah.
And just said, we went on to win championships.
Yeah, man. We are somebody.
We went on to compete in school challenge competition.
Yeah.
So
we weren't just a Cinderella no more, man. We went on.
The days are over, huh?
Yeah, done with that.
Yeah.
That done with.
Take on, learn the motto, man. The motto is very powerful. And, it is the foundation. And I understand why, lately I understand why Spana was pushing it as much as she did.
Yeah.
It's a foundation that you got to build on.
You know what, and not just since you said it a while ago, I realized when I think about it. The mere fact that we have them conversation and I talk about something that happened 40 years ago is a testament to the strength of what we learn at Meadowbrook, because we never forget it.
Never forget.
That's why we're so proudly talk about it, Freddie. We never forget it at all. And we want to nobody come on, a sense of pride. Just being at Meadowbrook. A sense of belonging where, we never forget that at all.
I went through Meadowbrook coming out of hall age, at an older age, 15, 16, and coming into Meadowbrook. And so when I left, when I left Jamaica and came up into the States, I'm looking at, 1990 at the time. That's when I went to college, 1991. January 1991, I went into college.
Them time they are big man.
Big man, a Division II school. You know, so Division II school, you can play up to a certain age. And when I walk on campus, you know, they gave me an advisor, and the advisor says, "Well, I don't know how you're gonna manage with these kids are much younger than you." And I'm like, "Guy, I'm not here for the kids."
Yeah.
You know, I'm here for education, right?
Yeah.
And I end up cutting off that advisor that same day.
Yeah.
I said, I don't need an advisor telling me that I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And I took my, you know, everything that I learned in Meadowbrook, everything I learned, you know, everything that built my confidence to go out there. I took that with me and went into college and get out of there with a degree in accounting.
Yeah, because nobody in Meadowbrook never go tell you say you can't make it.
Exactly. You know, and so when I graduated from Meadowbrook Jelly, I went and I said, you know what, I need to get a job, man. And my circle of job was anything that was close to my home. I didn't have a ride, right? So that was my thing. So I went out to Redlands Road Mall. There was a bookstore out there, and the guy says, "Yep, you know, your report card looks good. We could use you, but I don't think this is for you, though." And I said, "I want to do it." And he sets me up and give me some work. And I'm working in the bookstore. People come in, they ask for books. I give them, you know, take them to the shelf. I repack the shelf, you know, sweep the floor, keep it clean. And one night the guy says, you know, you got to close up. And this is a big responsibility. He's giving me the keys to the darn bookstore. I'm like, I just want to sell books, man. I don't want to be responsible for this stuff. But anyway, I took on the job. On my way to clean up and lock down that night, I saw $20 on the floor. One $20 bill.
And this is why you're Ira, because if I'm on here $20 and things, I look a bit of money. Why year this was?
Oh man, enough money that man. I graduated
What time of the year it is?
81. Yeah, 82.
Right. I must have to put that in a context, because $20
A baby food right now.
enough money that Ira. Enough
But
money.
back then it was enough money.
Yeah.
So I took it up and put it on one of the registers. And I said, you know, maybe the girl dropped it or whatever. So she get it in the morning. When I came back the next morning, open up and getting ready to, you know, the cashier came in and I said, hey, you know, $20 worth on the floor. I put it on the register. You know, it's, you know, so you could check it out. I don't know who it belongs to. And she took it to the back and then she came back out and called me and said, I need to talk to you. And when I went, she said, hey, the $20 you found, the boss said he left it there that night to see what you were going to do because you were the last one in the store and you're going to lock up. And I said, why would you want to do that? He said, he was just testing your character. And I was like, oh, that's what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he's so proud that, you know, you actually put it up and secured it for them. And when he talked to me that afternoon, he said, you know what? I got a friend over there, racing promotion, and I'm going to get you a job over there because you need to be making some money. And that's how I ended up at the racing promotion working with Doc and Addy.
And Doc, for the record, who Addy? Sorry, Ira, tell him about Doc.
Mary Poppins, man.
Freddie, you know who Ira got that?
Doc is Doc, you know
You know we know Ira. Tell him who Ira.
Mary Poppins.
If you're looking at the Meadowbrook, you see the name, man. Ira, tell him who got Freddie know who you talk.
Big Doc Prince, man.
Watch him attack.
Patrick,
yeah,
man.
Patrick used to work over there.
Yeah, he used to work at racing promotion, man. Yeah.
Patrick was our accountant.
I didn't swear that to Freddie. Yeah, I did the word too.
Patrick was our accountant, man.
Yeah.
I know Adi was there. I don't know Patrick was.
Yeah, Patrick is the one that handles all the cash.
But you see that story, Ira, where you just tell a while ago, when the man test the character and you pass the test. I can tell you. Wagga, David Hunt, Mr. Top, and Meadowbrook are proud of your character in terms of where you learn, I go through all of them, man. I not leave out Wagga. I not leave out Wagga at all because you make them, man, the proud.
Yes.
You follow me? I said, I make the institution proud, say, a man look on and I say, because the man give the job and test you. Him know say, I Meadowbrook you go, he must know say, I Meadowbrook you go and you represent, and I say, you know, go take when I belong to you. And that is, you don't need to say nothing more, Ira. That alone worth the price. I listen to this podcast I would do. That story alone.
Absolutely, man.
And test the character. You never even know. But when you learn and when you go through, and that is why when Top say into Lupayan and you tell you say Wagga say don't let down my friend. And you live with that, man. You never forget that. You never forget that, Ira. You never forget.
And you understand when me say it verbatim, that's exactly what he said to me, you know.
Yeah.
Up to today, me still have that
in your mind.
Like, don't let my friend down.
Yeah.
I don't know what Wagga tell him when he went over there. That wasn't even my concern. He says, my friend gave me his word. Don't let my friend down.
Yeah, man. Wagga was a giant for enough of the youth of Meadowbrook, man. I have to give him big respect, man. Big respect to Wagga.
That set me up on my path to life.
Yeah. The foundation they never change, Ira.
That was the foundation, man. And I learned that. I'm proud to say, man, I learned that at Meadowbrook.
Yeah. But when I look out for you a certain way, and then you can't let down a man. It's like you cannot let down people who look out for you a certain way. Your character mean everything, man. That mean everything, Ira.
And after that, man, after I went through Meadowbrook, there were so many kids from the community that went to Meadowbrook.
I still do.
I mean,
still do.
Combinations to go to Meadowbrook.
Yeah, still do. Yeah.
Yes.
You pave the way.
One I think I say, Jelly.
Yeah.
When about people from outside of the community going out, we inspire more people come in.
Yeah.
And outside, if you look at some of the outstanding people who came to Meadowbrook during my time, Ira time, a lot of them doing well out there, you know. A lot of them doing well.
And inspired by one a certain way. Yeah. Anyway, believe it or not, you know, Ira and Freddie, almost 3 hours a day I talk, you know. Believe it or not. I edge up to 3 hours I know. And
wow.
Yeah, man. The conversation.
I'm blowing the system. I didn't mean to blow the system, man.
No, when I blow up my system, if the conversation good, we just have to make it flow, you know. But before me ask the last question, Freddie, is there any question where you don't ask Ira, you think I forget to ask her?
No, you know, really, because this is one of the things with this podcasting is that I come in like the historian for the whole thing, you know. And I don't know how, because when you look at it, I attended Meadowbrook for 3 years.
Yeah.
The thing is, the whole Meadowbrook thing is so fascinating that I took it on myself to really do some research and some studies, enough to find out what happened before me and continue to find out what is happening even after I left, even until this day. You know, so it's just addition, Ira providing addition to Ira thing and
add to the history, Freddie.
Like I'm you know, really glad to know somebody. I have conversations still outside this still, you know, because you know one night I cook and think a Sunday like this, and Ira and Tony Reynolds called me with Wagga brother.
Not a Christopher.
And one more person. Once again, Ira.
Eva Bailey. Eva Bailey.
Eva Barnett or Bailey?
Bailey.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, man, Jelly, I postponed the cooking until the next day. Meadowbrook and them really come fast on one question for solve up a little question.
A little issue. Secular issue.
Yeah, we talk for nearly a whole hour and a half or something until cooking I forget postponed. The whole thing is, you know, when it comes to me, Ira, Tony, and as I say, the team welcomed Ira and Tony before they even start to play for Meadowbrook.
And that was awesome, man.
We were impressed with their whole mannerism, the play and everything. So we said, well, they were a perfect fit for what we had because we were looking for 2 people.
So you didn't know them from before, Freddie?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
No, I already. So it's a Tony come out. Tony will replace Harvey, and I will come and replace Walker. Our team set. Our team are even better. Better. And what them bring to the book, the history can tell you that I was not only a football at the book community, because what prefect again. We do things, So it's fresh life. Come to me, Ira man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad for talking again.
Yeah. Ira, the question go to you too. Is there any question where you think me could have asked you? Or anything where you want to talk about where you say, boy, Jelly forget to ask this. Anything where you want to talk about? The floor is yours. Before me ask you the last question.
Well, we're kind of disappointed in that when we listen to John Mayer and Cook discussion, you ask them about girls Argentina. You never ask me no girl question.
Well, that's why. We have the last question as the open. The floor is yours. Start with the girls. Go ahead.
But you figure, so because there's a baller still, them have all of the girls.
Yes, yeah, the girl, them sugar, of course. But that's why I'm not this last question I mean, I say, if we forget something, I might just bring it up. So tell me what you have to say about the girls, them now.
I want to help out Crooks because he said something in a film discussion where he said, after he realized who the girl was that was calling him,
yeah,
he stared and him can't believe say she walked by him and never say anything. I mean, well, one for just make him know say the girl was expecting him to engage her.
Yeah.
But even though he was a forward batsman, he never understood it. He still played defense on the girl.
I can't, no, me understand where I come from, because me and him would have in the same position. I wouldn't have known what to do at the era, I tell you. Because it's like, you expect the girl to come and say something to you, but you are afraid of look at and say, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't see the signal and you don't know and move forward and you say, okay, she have an interest. But trust me, the same thing have to do it happen to me. Did happen to me. You follow me, I said to you, and you say, but they say, as him say, and him honest about it is like, the female spirit, I'm going to put it that way there, it's not an easy spirit for knowing. And some people know it early, and some people know it late. And even at this stage, some people just don't know it at all.
Them don't know it at all. They miss the beat, man.
Yes!
But Tony, in my opinion, was a forward batsman. Him always up on the front foot.
Yes, but him up on the defense, him get part on the defense for that.
But him still going to start playing defensive. You never understand
this. Him on the back foot, we hear this. We hear this era. That's all you need to set up more at all, because
that was it for me, man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I hear you, Ira. I hear you. All right, so let me ask the last question. And this not the first question. I have the last question. Now. What made Meadowbrook magical?
So Meadowbrook uniform was very, very different from everybody else's. But I don't think I could find it, but the first jersey we had was the blue with the green and white stripe on the side.
Yeah.
That jersey and actually that set of uniform kind of set the stage for Meadowbrook appearing out there. Because when we first went out there, they always thought these guys are a joke. But after they realized it was serious business, they started paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the magic really in Meadowbrook, and Freddie can attest to it, and most of the guys already talked about it, was the mentality and the shift in our mindset. What Meadowbrook was, who we are, and what we believed in.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing was, if you put on the uniform, you got to play and represent.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think we can win the game, don't put the uniform on. That was me, and I was dead serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, it's you have to play if you're going to be on the field. And so that kind of transcend down, you know, through the rest of the teams, and you talk about it some where, you know, where the cricket team started to pick up the feeling of, we got something here. Yeah, you know, when Peggett and those guys came in and Ronnie and start spinning and batting and doing all those stuff, we start to change how we feel about playing and how we feel about competing. You know, and I'm telling you, the Dread was a serious guy, because if he sees talent, he's going to hold you to the fire for it. He's not going to let you just be a talent and that was it. You know, so the magic in Meadowbrook really, you know, starts with the football and the excitement and students start to feel the game and start getting involved in listening and watching and start to, you know, do the thing. Because when we beat KC that first year I played and we beat them 1-0, when we came back to school, there was no surprise. There was no one saying, "Oh man, we're surprised. We can't believe you win." Everybody was on board about us beating KC and going into the next game. When we tied with Calabar, they were kind of disappointed that we actually tied the game and didn't win the game. But they accepted it, you know, that we tied. You know, so the magic actually starts to happen for the school. And, you know, kids were running out to Pecca and buying their Sky Juice and buying their Callaloo sandwich and all that stuff and feeling and talk. Kids were actually talking about the game. As opposed to, well, yeah, we lost 7-0 again. You know, there was something there for everybody to talk about. You know, Cooksey talk about the what tree you call it? There was a tree by the netball court.
Not John talk about that, the plum tree.
Oh, the plum tree that John talked about, the plum tree.
Yeah.
That was more than just watching netball. That was a conversation point.
Yeah, man. Yes. Yeah, you're right. It was more than just watching netball. The whole part of it going at that plum tree there. You're right, Ira.
Yeah, that was, you know, so the magic starts to kick in with the entire school. The teachers are talking about it. Teachers are patting you on the shoulder and you're walking down the hallway, say, "Hey, good game, you know, keep up the good work." And those kind of things start to build in, and, you know, so it kicks in. I'm proud that we went on to do different things. You know, some people may say, well, you know, that didn't happen when I was there, but you were a part of the building. You know, you don't have to be the whole block, but, you know, I'm glad I was just one small block into that wall or into that system that was able to continue to grow and keep going forward and still growing, you know, even today. So the magic is in the spirit and the transition of the mindset of every student that walked through that gate.
I hear you, Ira. Very well. Very powerfully said, and that is a good way for end, because the magic in our spirit and the belief, we start believing ourselves, and the transition will start to take place. So yeah.
Royal Blue and Bottle Green.
Go ahead, Freddie.
I say must all remember the Royal Blue and the Bottle Green.
Yeah.
Yes, always.
Yeah, Raleigh.
She always remind you, you know, it's not just blue or green. It's Royal Blue and Bottle Green.
And Bottle Green, man. So it's big time.
Yeah,
The history of the school is rock solid.
Yeah, Raleigh.
Even though it's small.
Yeah, it still remains small, but we punch much bigger than our weight, man. And it's like, yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's a magical time, alright. It was a magical time, man. We inspire. And as I said, if we talk about it still after 40 years, it was magical. So yeah.
It was awesome, man. I carry this stuff straight through life with me.
Yeah. Me that too, Ira. Me that.
Anybody asks me where I say, I went to Meadowbrook.
Yeah, man. You're proud to say that, man.
Yeah.
You're proud.
I went to Meadowbrook, man.
Ira say to Jelly and when a coach and reporters or interviewer ask me about the JC history. I usually say, I don't know much about JC's history, but I went to Meadowbrook. And Jenny been vexed.
Yeah.
I don't see no reason why me must come now as a Meadowbrook man and start big up for them colours and all them things.
Yeah.
Why they made a job, yes, they gave me an opportunity to excel in terms of football coaching and teaching. But it all come from Meadowbrook. So why, you know?
Yeah, man. Meadowbrook give all the opportunity to make a light shine, man. We can't forget that, Tyra.
Yes.
Work with it.
We can't forget
If
that.
them can't take it, then all them try to do is say, yeah, well,
Go somewhere. Yeah, exactly. But them know you come for contribute, man. So them can't just run you out. Anyway, gentlemen, this was good. This is a good conversation, and I appreciate you coming on here and spend almost 3 hours talk to it, and
Man,
this was good. I appreciate that, and
it's a blessing for me, man.
yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about now is not nothing that this is what I talk about all the time when anyone asks me about Meadowbrook.
Right, and we have it now.
You know?
We have it per
So-
record now, and man can go back and listen to over and over. Say, you know, in half it. So that's a good thing. So Freddie, Ira, bless up, you know. As I say,
Yes.
when you say Ira or Freddie, the royal blue, rally around the royal blue
Battle green,
and the battle green.
battle green.
Ready for battle
Right.
royal, man.
I'm gonna finish this off with Spanner, man, because Spanner held me accountable for this stuff. And she said, "Iter splendid lux vestra."
Light so shine.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there.
Like so shine. One love, brethren.
Yeah, man. You to Ira. You
All
to
right.
Freddie.
Thanks again, man.
Bless. Yeah, man. Thank you, Ira. Cool. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right,
All right.
Freddie. Cool.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to Meadowbrook Memories. And remember to give us all the support and encouragement you can on whatever social media platform you are listening. And special thanks to my production manager, Kyle Prince, who takes care of everything involved in getting the podcast out every week. And without him, this podcast would not be possible. It is his expertise that allows me to do what I love doing every week, having great conversations about Meadowbrook Memories, and he's responsible for everything else. So again, thanks to my production manager, Kyle Prince.